is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast, where we cover Sakamoto Days, Mission Yozakura Family, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, and One Piece week to week. Back this week covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 29. I am your host, Eagle.
Knox.
Mellow Yanis.
And we are joined once again this week by Yato from the Discord. He is our resident manga update notifier over on Twitter and an admin in our Discord, like I said. So, I mean, he's been on the show a few times. Most of you should be pretty familiar with him. What up, Yato? Thanks for joining us, man.
What up, what up? Thank you for having me. First time being on the show with Eagle, so
yeah.
Hey,
that exciting.
That is a fact. That is a fact. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, shit, yeah. Obviously, we'll put any relevant links to anywhere you can find him down below in the description box. Still no sixth series on the shows here, so we're trying to decide which one we want to add. We're thinking we're just going to leave it up to you guys. So we're thinking, we're going to put a poll up on Twitter, let you guys decide that way. But right now, to let us decide which ones we're going to throw on the poll, you guys can comment in the comment section down below, which series you'd like to see covered on the show here. So, yeah.
Let us know.
While I'm mentioning that, go ahead and look down there where you can find links to any and all of our individual social media accounts, such as Twitter, online communities such as Discord, audio listening platforms to consume the podcast on, as well as ways to support the show, such as our Patreon or our online store. Also, you can find timestamps to navigate yourself through the video and avoid series that you're not caught up in, spoilers and such. Yeah, so with all that said, another fire-ass week in Jump. I think we're going to start having little brief conversations about what we all thought about the Weekend Jump and what the best chapter was. So, being that Yato's the guest, why don't you start us off, man? What did you think of this Weekend Jump?
Oh man, I'm in the hot seat. I liked it a lot, man. Everything was good for me. I didn't have any chapters where I thought anything was lacking. Hard to say what I thought was my favorite for now. I think the conversation will have to help me make that decision. But I'm on the fence between Jujutsu and One Piece, just because of how big that One Piece shit is.
Hell yeah.
One Piece, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, this week was massive inside of what we have. I think I can't remember the last time I felt like everything was firing on like all cylinders like this. Like I feel like we've had this conversation a couple times.
It happens in waves.
Yeah, like Mello's brought it up a couple of times about how like
I feel like they're all cooking in the background, like hey, this week
you're dropping, we're dropping too. I'll bet.
Yeah, like Kohei, what you doing? Oh, you doing that? All right, Gege, what you doing? Oh, okay.
Hey,
well,
June, I'm going crazy, bro.
Yeah, type shit. I feel like they all like kind of stay in sync when things are slow. Everything is kind of slow or building up to something, and when
might be
things are firing
some
off,
the
everything
editors
is,
kind of push too.
maybe. Yeah, you never know what's going on behind the scenes there. But I think the strongest chapter this week was either Jujutsu Kaisen or My Hero Academia.
Ooh.
My Hero had like
For
really
me,
strong
My
writing.
Hero was the strongest chapter of this week. Like I love JJK, great, but like I really enjoyed the meat that was presented to me in My Hero Academia.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yes, sir. What about you,
Obviously,
Eagle?
I agree.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, obviously, I agree. Super strong week overall. Everything's firing on all cylinders, so it's fucking great time to be reading Jump. I gotta say, right now, at least I'm on the fence with Yato between One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen. Also, My Hero. It's a really hard week for me because man, everything's slapping so hard. And
Right.
My Hero's up there.
Yeah.
So
You
the
gotta
conversation is gonna
choose.
probably allow me to tell for sure what I thought was the strongest chapter, but it's between One Piece and Jujutsu, with My Hero being a close third right now, at least.
Hell yeah.
So yeah. Well, with all that said, I think we should just probably jump right into the conversation, man.
Let's
First
do it.
chapter of the week, chapter 75 of Sakamoto Days, and I'm on the wrong page for the title. It is Damn Telepath.
Yeah, they put it
Damn,
4
telepath.
pages in.
Yeah, 4
Right?
pages.
Sorry.
Yeah. I like that though. I like when they put the chapter titles or
delayed
whatever.
title,
like
yeah.
It makes it feel more cinematic. Like there's an opening scene going into the credits or something like that. Yeah.
Like in a video game, you always get that little opening kind of prologue scene, and then expansive panning scene into the title shot.
Right. Yeah.
I'd be cool with it if I didn't like post chapters in places. So I'm like, I don't know whether I should like go 4 pages in and like like I'm in like a Facebook group where I share like chapters and stuff. And it's like I normally just screenshot the first page and post it, but like there's no chapter link or anything. So I'm like, I gotta flip through a couple pages. Okay, post page 4. It's kind of annoying sometimes, but
Yeah, I bet.
if it wasn't for that, I'd be all on board.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This chapter was tight though, bro. Like the seeing like the actual like assassin like school, like 3rd period, 4th period, like they really made it feel, you know, like familiar, like a high school or whatever and whatnot. It was giving me big like Deadly Class vibes. If anybody reads like Rick Remender and Wes Craig's Deadly Class, it definitely put me like right back there when they were doing like gun training and martial arts training and whatnot in their assassination world. So that was a cool vibe to get.
Yeah. That's definitely all cool as shit to see.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see like what kind of obstacles we get going forward, only because like the flashback at the beginning of the chapter almost made the mission seem like easy mode. Like, oh yeah, Shin can just go in there, read the minds of all the students and faculty. We can find this room, you know what I'm saying? Whoop-de-whoop, wham, bam. So it's definitely like, if nothing else, it's probably like a very well kept secret, you know, among a very, very small group of people, if not only one person. Because the room probably exists, obviously. But.
Right.
Yeah. The fact that even Sakamoto himself like can't confirm or whatever that it exists, I think was like what got me. I was like, wow, he hasn't even been there. Like he's like the guy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Sakamoto is like the assassin, like yardstick as far as you know, accomplishments and accolades and just overall like this is the poster child. So it's like if Sakamoto even doesn't know for sure, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Just.
Although we did see Hisuke passed him on the shooting test.
That was crazy.
96.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it to be Heisuke. I was like, oh, new assassin rival? And then it was like, oh, it's Heisuke. And I was like, oh, shit.
For a sec, I'm like, is this going to be like the next antagonist that we go up against? It's like, nope, this idiot forgot to write his name. This idiot forgot to give his name,
What felt so weird to me, though, real quick, in this, like, gun scene is that, like, everybody was like, oh man, we got to do this in a minute. That's fucked up. This shit is brutal or whatever. And then Sakamoto, like Lady Sakamoto comes in and like does everything or whatever. But then the guy was like, a few were, the teacher was like, a few of you were able to fire off a shot, but most of you didn't even finish assembling your guns. This class is hopeless. Hey, trainee teacher, show them how it's done. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, because Sakamoto's about to, like, end this. But then all of a sudden it was like, come on, hurry and get to a station. I'll embarrass her in front of everyone. This is no workplace for women. And I was like, really? I was like, there's a bunch of cold-blooded female assassins in this world of note that, like, the entire assassination world knows about. So, like, I guess you're just giving this dude, like, a shitty character trait, like, misogynistic, like, sexist character trait or whatever. But it just felt, like, so awkwardly placed for me. It's like, okay, we know that we want Sakamoto to come in here and flex. That's the whole reason for this scene, but what's like the catalyst for that? This dude's a misogynist? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
weird.
Yeah, that felt like so awkward for me. I was like, there's no reason why he should think that this is no place for women. Like, Osaragi is like an actual like member of the biggest assassination faction y'all have, so.
Order, yeah. I mean, so the way I see it is like, I imagine that all the teachers might just be a level of petty because, like, think about it. They're assassins. They're not talking about morality or, like, being good people. I've met a lot of people that don't have to do any bad stuff, and they're misogynists. And I'm just like, all right, cool. The bar's low. I understand. Like, and so part of me thinks about, like, when I think about school, I think about, like, you know, the moment I realized that like a lot of my teachers were just really flawed people that happened to be in a position to teach me things.
Oh, sure.
And I was just like, okay, you know, whatever, I get it. Like the first teacher, right? That was like bullied by Akira's
Oh yeah, a cow.
Right?
Yeah,
yeah. I think it is her auntie. Yeah.
I think it's her aunt.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, like, you have another example right there of a cold-blooded female assassin that has the entire streets shook.
Yeah. You know, people are always going to be like that. Like, maybe they just don't feel good about themselves. And they're like, I'm going to talk shit until I am, you know, showed up.
Right.
And it's like, why did that guy, like, pick on a cow, right? I mean, they were late, right? Akira. but they relate. But also at the same time, he realizes, oh, that's person that bullied me. Did he subconsciously see that kid? And I'm like, hey, that person made me feel bad in the past. I want to make them feel bad.
Yeah.
Go get their ass kicked by Jumbo. Like,
For sure.
You know, it's like, all right, cool. Like, it kind of, it seemed to me to stay in the same vein as opposed to like being specifically like, oh, this is a little out of place.
Yeah.
But I'm pessimistic. I'm cynical. I don't expect much out of people.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Like, bro, you look like you got a fucking pan lid on top of your head. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, what is this haircut right now?
I was
Jarhead.
immediately thinking of like JoJo. This guy's like his outfit and shit is just everywhere. Like his clothes and his hair and shit is just very weird. But
he got the Gucci pocket polo on and shit.
Yeah, no, his drip is major. His drip is major, but this haircut is insane. Like I can just see, like if this dude was in One Piece, like Luffy would call him like Acorn Head or some shit. Like,
yeah,
like yo, Acorn, you got some food?
Right.
It's Yarny, the purple dinosaur.
Yeah. I love this like assumed depiction of Heisuke inside of like the other students. He's just like angel of death, bullseye, forehead, gunman.
Yeah, I had to look back. I was like, did he even have a bullseye? He's got a bullseye on his cheek, but like their like idea of him
tiny
is
one.
Yeah, it's not even.
I thought it was a dead bullseye. No, like Daredevil bullseye reference.
I thought
they're like, oh, he never misses, and he's got a big old thing carved in the front of his forehead, and I'm like, that's the guy.
Shoot me if you dare.
Right, I thought you were gonna say Death Note, because I was just about to say too, like he looks like a Shinigami.
Yeah.
Little bit.
Oh man,
bruh. The back third of this chapter was just so fucking strange, bro.
Like the last part of it.
I loved it.
Yeah, like these maintenance or these weapons production guys, like they're like, oh, where the fuck is Buddy? You know what I'm saying? He melted down all our shit, you know. And then it kind of moves into this situation where like Shin is in the bathroom with this fucko like weapons department dude, and then it culminates to Shin just like whooping this dude's ass for like no apparent reason. And then and then he meets this dude. He just like, oh, is this the scene where you harass me? And then whoops his ass.
It makes sense.
It seemed kind of crazy.
I thought it made sense for Shin because he's never had a childhood, you know? Like he hasn't experienced any school environment in his life, so he only knows it through comics. And like, he wants to like experience that for himself vicariously through the JCC, and also he needs to like go around and like try to read people's minds and see what he can like learn. So like it like, you know, two birds, one stone kind of thing. He's living out his like personal fantasy of school life. Under the guise of like searching, you know.
You think you maybe want to talk to the dude then instead of just like say some weird shit and then piece his ass up.
Maybe he doesn't even need to talk to him. Maybe he's just like, I'm going to do this because it's going to attract attention from like higher ups to my location, and then once they get in here, like I'll read their mind and then get the information that I need, and then I can knock him out and just like keep it pushing or whatever. He probably doesn't need to talk to him. He probably got everything he needed from this like very brief interaction and then just knocked him out and moved on.
Just making fun of him with the trope shit.
He fucking rocked his shit though. I love this splash page on 16. Just like no remorse, no words, just pat. All right, back to work. book open on the next page and shit.
He's got a checklist.
Oh yeah,
he's going down a checklist of tropes.
One bow.
Yeah, he did hit him like 3 times. Oh wait, I think he like blocked whatever his other arm was, then hit him in the gut, and then fucking jogged.
Yeah, he like hits one down and
Oh yeah, because he grabs him by the collar and he's like, "Look here, kid," and he's just like, "Bink, bink, bink."
If you guys look on page 15 and zoom in to Shin's hand, he has school tropes list. He's checked off skipping class to smoke, and he's checked off cafeteria dine and dash, and he's got napping in the library, ditching club activities by feigning illness, and getting harassed by upperclassmen unchecked on his list. He's got a bingo card.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's living out his
like a tourist.
His comic book.
He's a full tourist experience. He's like, ooh, gotta go check out this place.
See what
Yeah.
it's like being a kid in
Kiss the
school,
Blarney Stone.
according
Yeah.
to these comic books.
That's wild.
Because
Yeah, go ahead.
because
Yato.
he was like raised in that facility
Lab.
underground, and they gave him like his powers at like age 6. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's never like had a normal life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like looking at this list now, and it's like Dine and Dash at lunch. It's like they're charging y'all for lunch at this place. Like this, like a multiple billion-dollar
Yeah.
facility, and they're not even giving y'all free food.
They're letting y'all fire off guns and shit using
Right.
the ammunition for free, but you got to pay for fucking pizza Fridays.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
we
like
had to
y'all
cut-
live
we had
here.
to cut- We had to make budget cuts somewhere, and
Yeah.
bullets apparently do grow on trees.
Like,
This economy in
Yeah.
shambles.
right.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's
Holy
crazy.
I
shit.
definitely can't wait to see where things go with Natsuki here, though. He seems like an interesting character, and being that he's the
Siba?
leader of the
Yeah.
weapons development
Yeah.
department.
Yeah.
Yes,
I like how he got kicked out of the lab, and it's just like, okay, well, I'm at the JCC doing stuff, I guess.
Yeah, did you?
Well,
yeah,
I'm super curious to see what, like, how can he tell that Shin is a telepath? I guess.
he fought him before.
Yeah,
He
I
was.
I was just
they-
gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen this guy
they
before.
they
Yeah.
fought. He's the invisibility guy. They fought
Mhm.
like back in the arc where they went underground because those guys were they were actually trying to kidnap Shin. And I was just rereading it a few minutes ago before this.
Mhm.
This Natsuki was actually like tasked with capturing Shin, but remember they grabbed what's her name, Lou. They grabbed the girl because she was wearing like Shin's like apron with his name tag, so they grabbed her
Yep.
thinking it was
Mhm.
Shin, and then like he ended up fighting
Yep.
Shin or whatever, and they had a squabble.
Yeah.
Him and Heisuke took down Siba because
Yeah.
they like used the gun and like shot the sprinkler system and like did that whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shin's already beaten this guy, and so he's like,
I hope they do an unlike like begrudging team up.
you know.
Yeah.
They're like, hey,
Well-
what are you here for? I need this. Oh, you know what? I'm looking for a thing. You wanna help me?
Another little interesting thing is back then they never gave him his first name. So like in this chapter, before you meet him, all the characters they're like, "Where's Natsuki?" or whatever. Where the fuck is Natsuki? So we don't know who they're talking about. But like back in that first arc, back then when we first see him and he's fighting against like Sakamoto and Shin in that previous arc, they were calling him Siba, which is I guess his last name.
Mhm.
So they were like, "Yo, Siba, handle this guy. Siba, you got this," or whatever. Something that I just noticed, I don't know if you guys caught it or if anybody was going to say anything, but the guy from the last arc, Mafuyu, with the face mask, is his younger brother.
Also Siba.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think I could. I don't know who. Like, was it me and you, Mello, that was talking about like that possible connection? Yeah, I think it was you that pointed that out, and I was like, "Hey, yo, if that's a thing, that's
his younger brother."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Mafuyu was like,
Ooh.
in that arc, Mafuyu fought and teamed up with Shin. Natsuki fought and now looks like he's might team up with Shin, so it's crazy. And before he was like,
Yeah.
when they were on the plane, he was like, "I'm only here because my brother gave me the flu and I missed the regular test, so now he's
Yo.
taking the test with Shin and them, and he
Yeah.
teams
I
up with
just-
him."
It's all in the family.
Yeah,
I just thought of something. So he fights Natsuki Siba, right, with a team up, and then he teams up with Mafuyu Siba as an ally. Now he's gonna possibly team up with Natsuki for this thing, which would lead to him fighting Mafuyu later.
yeah, because now Mafuyu's
in
with
a
fucking
2v1,
Slur
and
now.
have a literal bookend shuffle of brothers.
Yeah.
So like Heisuke may be brought back for that fight against Mafuyu, or it's brother against brother because I love that tragic stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah. Brother against brother shit is always intense.
I wonder what, like, I think did they say what he was doing? Like they said he melted down all the weapons and stuff, but like I don't remember if they said
For his
anything
own
else.
projects, yeah.
Yeah, I know before when in the previous arc when Natsuki fought with Shin, he was just saying like he was talking about how he didn't like doing overtime, but he also didn't like clocking out early, and he was only doing these jobs so he could save like 20 million yen before his retirement age. So like maybe he's melting down all this shit just to steal or whatever. I don't know. He's got the invisibility suit or had it. He's part of this weapons division.
He still got it because he
He
activates it as soon as he sees Shin. He's like, nope, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. It's weird that he says like in this chapter, he says something that would like sort of imply that he didn't know or whatever. Oh yeah, he's like, I think you mistaken me for somebody else, but like he knows that he can read his mind.
Right.
He knows that Shin can read his mind.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
He's gonna at least try. Get
Yeah.
A+ for effort.
Right. You gotta
like,
at least try to
There's
lie.
so much hassle. I don't want to deal with this. Come
Right.
on.
And I just always assume that people with invisibility powers are on some like ulterior motive, like underhanded shit, just because it's easier for you to get away with like whatever you want when you can just go invisible and bounce. Like the only thing that really counters you is like a telepath or like a Wolverine type character that has like daredevil senses and can just
Enhanced
like smell
senses,
you or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and he recognized this guy because literally like he comes out of the stall. He's like, "Hey, Senpai, are you okay?" And Shin's like, "Huh?" And then fucking Natsuki immediately turns on the invisibility. He's like, "Nope, fuck this. Not dealing with this guy."
I love that moment on the end of 17 where he just looks at him and goes, It's just like, I'm out.
Actually, on second thought, fuck this guy, yeah.
Right. I love the art on 18, and I'm sure we saw it like in the art that he was introduced in. Yeah, it's like this very distorted, almost like cellophane wrap kind of representation of invisibility. And then as he grabs them, you know, you have the stark blacks in his sweater, and then that same kind of like effect in the art for the invisibility, like interacting with it, the way that he has them like yoked up and whatnot, and it's just like broken up so crazy to where the dude looks like an oblong, like, you know, crazy like snake looking thing. Like
amoeba.
I can't even like make out like a person like at all, really, just in the way that it's drawn, but it's like so cool because it's like he's grabbing an invisible dude. So how do you represent that?
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
It reminds me of this like suit I saw like way back when it was. I think it was made by a Chinese guy, like an older Chinese guy, but it was basically like a raincoat made entirely of like these like glass beads or something, and it would like refract light based on the shape of things that you could kind of see through him.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's
it reminds
cool.
me of something like that. Or
the
he
way
did
that
it with like cameras or something.
Yeah, the way it like
it was either like
with
with
light
cameras
and shit.
or like glass beads, but like like the way light bends and stuff. And I was like, that's cool. I like that. So like whenever I see like technology based invisibility, that's just the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm like, nice.
Yeah, that reminds me of those like tents that they have now where people go out like hunting or just camping and shit, and they have like those fucking cloaks or whatever they put on a tent, and like if you just look at it, like it looks like nothing's there, like a bear will just walk straight past it, but there's like a dude in there. Or like they have like they have that technology on like trucks and shit now. You see videos, people inside like the back of the truck, and they can see outside, but like the people can't see, like the one-way mirror type shit on the trucks.
Oh,
yeah, just like a bunch of mirrors like plating the car or whatever, so that like it just constantly looks like a reflection of the surroundings around it, so then therefore it looks invisible. That's
cool
tight.
shit.
Hell yeah.
I always dig stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Do we know who Sako is for the fifth place person? Like we know the top four for the shooters, but I don't remember a Sako.
Yeah, I don't think we have seen this character yet. I think that might be Yuto Suzuki letting us know that this Sako character is going to be important, since like everyone else on the list is people we're familiar with.
Yeah, top 10.
Yeah.
And like some of these stats could be outdated. Like Sakamoto, I mean, he got 89 like 10, 20 years ago. So like somebody else could be like, you know, like Akao could be, you know, number one now, even though she just didn't come back and take the shooting test. She could be like, she could have trained and gotten better than Heisuke or whatever.
Right, yeah. But it's Heisuke right now, and that's just so funny.
He assembled the gun and got 67 shots off, reloaded multiple times in a minute. That's still impressive as fuck.
Yeah.
He even notes like, I've gotten slower, damn.
Oh, does he say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I've gotten slower. Yep. I didn't even notice that. Dude, I just now noticing the reaction of the teacher too, with the acorn head on the bottom of 10. 67 shots.
Bro could probably only do like 30.
Yeah, you know his bitch ass is only putting up like 20.
Yeah, 20, 30 max.
Just enough to be a teacher for this
Yeah.
for this shit. You're like, all right, you got 33. You know, we only expect the new guys to get like 12, so we'll let you go.
I'm dead.
What was that joke? What was that joke? Those who can't do, teach. Those who can't teach Jim.
Yo. That's hilarious. Oh, shit.
That's about all I had for Sakamoto.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't think I had too much more for this chapter.
I liked the visual gags.
Yeah.
And the little rumors about like where the thing is, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that this chapter is really cool. I love the arc that we're in. I like how we had that conversation about this Sako character on the 5th place greatest all-time shooter list or whatever, because now I'm like really curious about like their introduction, or if we're ever going to see them, and if so, will it be soon or will it be much later?
You never know.
Yeah, I do. I wonder like if Natsuki's gonna drop, or somebody's gonna say his name and Shin will connect that they're brothers.
Yeah.
But like, yo, I was like, what's your brother? Like, you know, a week ago, bro.
I think it'd be dope if we got that scene too. Yeah, absolutely.
I was
Especially
with
going
your
into the
brother
slur
a week
stuff.
ago, bro.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh. And the thing is, Mafuyu got kidnapped. So Natsuki might actually be like, hey, where did he go?
Yeah.
And that might be how Shin gets him to like work with him. Is like, hey man, if you help me, I'll tell you everything I know.
Yeah, it's
because this dude's got invis.
Yeah, it's like I was just with him like a week ago. You're telling me that you haven't even seen your own or heard of your own from your own brother in like however long. Like you could start connecting dots. Like, wait a minute, something's not right here.
Him having invisibility is perfect to like help with a telepath for infiltrating and locating this fucking chamber of secrets that nobody knows really exists.
Wait, this team up is a lot.
Shin could borrow the suit. What if Shin just borrows the suit?
Man. Yeah, Shin like just chilling.
That was so easy.
Shin just chilling like in the principal's office, like in Viz, listening to everyone's thoughts and shit. Yeah, that'd be wild.
That'd be crazy. I'd love that. Fly on the wall.
That would be
Shin.
nutty.
Yeah, subterfuge, like invisible Shin type shit. That'd be dope.
Bruh.
Yeah, I need it now.
That's it for me, though.
Well, shit. Yeah, I think that's it for Sakamoto this week. Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and jump right into the next chapter. Mission Yozakura Family, chapter 134. 0 points.
What a chapter.
And I mean, as far as the title, you know, it's pretty evident in the title that Taiyo really gets a stark reminder in this chapter at how utterly outmatched he is in this engagement in every way, shape, and form. He is absolutely systematically disassembled by Momo. It's more like demeaning that he's like literally sitting there talking shit, like scoring
rating him.
Points, like you ain't shit to me.
Yeah, it's crazy how we're getting this like showing of Momo Yozakura like at this point in the game, because up until this point he's just been like, you can't touch me, I turn into flowers and bounce. I fucking do like a crazy like sleight of hand attack and then leave or something. He's actually throwing hands here, and he's like kind of like nerfing himself for the sake of the fight or whatever, because he's genuinely trying to teach Taiyo something. And like normally I don't really like you know, the newer kind of like scenes that do this in like manga, where like the antagonist will just like start helping the main character and training them like mid-fight or whatever, and it's like, why are you doing that, bro? Like, is it because the audience like needs this information for like character building and just like progression of the main character? I always feel like there's more organic ways that this information can be given than the antagonist being in like perfect control of the fight and narrating the entire thing for the sake of the growth of the main character or whatever. But like it feels really good in Yozakura Family because of what we know about Momo. Like he genuinely cares about these people and thinks that what he's doing is correct, and he actually loves these people. He's just a fucking psychopath. So like it's
like this, you're the husband, you know, you're my son-in-law, you got to be able to, you know, take care of my daughter and shit. So you gotta be, you know, on the top of your game. You can't be fighting people like this. You get 0 points for these moves.
Right.
You gotta be better.
It makes the situation like that much more like awkward. And I was talking about it like in the like one of the last reviews that we did for Yozakura Family about like how like conflicted everyone involved is when it comes to this Momo character, because at the end of the day this is still your father. Like he is terrible, but that's gotta create, you know, some kind of either apprehension or just like really like awkward tension inside of the cast and for the audience too, because it's just like, man, like this dude sucks, he's killing people and we need him out of here. But then you get a chapter like this where he's like, hey man, you need to get stronger to protect your family, and it's like, well, that's a good thing, but you suck, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
we're trying
like,
to protect her from your ass.
yeah, and it's just like, oh man, it's just like so weird, and like I don't know how to feel, you know, like I know how to feel but I don't know if that makes sense. But
he's doing Beasley shit too, man, like on page 1 even, where he just like,
Oh, that was
takes
terrifying.
the punch
yeah,
and just like literally doesn't even fall on some Katakuri shit, catches himself and vaults his ass back up at
Yeah.
him with his fucking,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
instantly recovers and resets, like smile on his face, like this is fun type shit, and it's like, dude, this dude is trying his hardest, respect the kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he
He's
even
backing
says it.
this.
Yeah, he even says it too. He's like, hey man, when you're fighting someone that's like this much stronger than you, like even if it's sparring, like you gotta come at it like you're trying to kill them, because that's the level difference. Yeah,
You need to be committed to that kind of thing.
right.
Well, I think it also contrasts the idea of like that moment right there, page 5. Him saying that really contrasts the difference between him and Tayo mentally, is that even though Momo has done all these horrible things, Tayo is still not coming at him with the mentality of, I'm going to kill you. It's like, I'm going to stop you. As opposed to Momo, who's just like, I will kill civilians in a neutral zone.
Yeah, it's like you
So
need
it's
to
like-
be.
I think
wait.
that like that contrasts things, and then you guys are saying is like, he does that transformation into flowers to like avoid damage, but is that Momo trying to just show him the difference between him physically by saying like, I don't even need to like flower up, I don't need to like become immaterial to defeat you, I can just beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's more of like a flex. Plus, he's trying to like get them to like. He already said, "Won't you guys just let me get away?" And so it's like, I'm trying to show you the overwhelming difference between us, and that way you'll give up. That kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think there's still a lot of that whole like family thing. Like if you're not gonna like try and kill your like wife's dad for real if he's like going off and drunk or something, or
Yeah.
whatever. You like your instinct's gonna be like to pin him down. Like, yo, you need to chill the fuck out. So like Tayo's kind of like,
Wife's dad comes up on some fuck shit, you're just like,
yeah. The dad might be out of it, fighting for real. You're like,
Day is over.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that Father's Day too is crazy because this is a Father's Day chapter, right? This
Right.
is dropped yesterday,
Yeah.
and I think he did the same crazy shit on
For
Mother's Day this year.
yeah.
Mother's Day, he reveals that he's like trying to revive the mother or whatever on
Right,
Mother's Day.
yeah.
This man's going crazy with these family holidays.
I feel like a couple mangaka are, kind of like doing dad chapters coincidentally on Father's Day. Like My Hero Academia is a father chapter, like this week or whatever. And I haven't read Undead Unluck yet, but I heard Undead Unluck is like a Father's Day chapter too, to a certain degree or whatever. So
Yeah.
that just brings us back to the beginning conversation that we had at the front of the episode about how like these manga could be in sync maybe, or maybe they just all had the idea to do something for Father's Day without communication or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, holidays are big. I mean, manga is a business, and at the same time, like, think about like Monday cyber sales or like Christmas things, July summer sales.
yeah,
They're commercializing Pride Month. They've commercialized Juneteenth of all things. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, people think about the calendars. Columbus Day sales, liquidation sales. All these cars gotta go.
Yeah,
75%
yeah.
off.
we're passing
Yeah.
the savings on to you.
I don't wanna lie.
What was that, Family Guy? Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
I love that. I love that guy.
Yeah, the way Yato and Maxie said, "Yeah, when you make Juneteenth."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ain't
Yeah.
about that, but like but it is a business, right? So like
Right.
I feel like mangaka paying attention to things, and plus like the holidays are always something where people are like gonna be like, oh, I want to have free time for this. I want something to do. So having something really interesting during a holiday seems to like hit that. It's like makes certain moments that you experience special or something like that because you'll remember that. It's like, oh yeah, it was on this day because it was already in my mind
Yeah.
because of the holiday.
hmm
I don't know.
type shit. And the
Cultural
choreography,
impact.
the choreography in this chapter is off the charts. I just wanted to say, like from the very first
Fantastic.
chapter, like he steals off him, he like resets, backflips, and then starts taking off, but then instantly turns back around to go meet Tayo with this left hook, and then he like brings it back into like his fucking like, I don't even know, mantis stance, like nose
Like a
knock
Kenpo,
or whatever.
yeah.
You know. And then he's like, fuck that, and tries to roundhouse kick him. He ducks that shit. Low down A sweeps him.
Yeah.
He like down A's him.
Limbo champ.
Yeah, and then he tries to pull out Ye and fucking blast him, and he grabs that shit around the fucking arm, reaches into his shorts, and I was like, "What are you doing, Momo?"
That's from the ground too. Like he's on the
Yeah.
ground, and then next panel he's in the air above Tayo, about
Right.
to grab that fucking gun.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, you're totally
No,
right.
he
Yeah.
made. Oh
No. He kicks him, and then as Tayo is falling, he's grabbing Ye. But then they like reset in their footing or whatever. Yeah.
But I'm talking about Momo though. Momo
Yeah.
goes from doing like the sweep kick to like being up in the air. Like
Yeah, I didn't notice that at first. I thought that they were both kind of still just like falling, like low to the
Or maybe-
ground. Yeah, because
I
Well,
think
then-
he-
Well, and on page 1 too, he doesn't even like turn around or anything. He like, what's that called when you're on your back and you just kick straight up to your feet? He does some shit like
that
but
Bruce
just
Lee
with
Liu
his,
Kang shit.
with his
yeah.
arms, like he flies back, catches himself with his hands, and just vaults right back at him.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
he
how he
came.
got
Okay.
He came straight back at him, and that's why he's right in his face on 2.
Yeah, off
Yeah,
his
he's-
arms.
Yeah.
Off
He's
his
doing all
arms,
kinds
yeah.
of stuff like that because like when he switches from like the right hook to Kenpo, he's literally contorting his body. He's twisting,
Yeah.
and like no human body does that. Like,
Yeah.
So he's definitely like relying on his kind of abnormal like physiology to like pull
Sure.
off some moves.
And that's
Um,
really cool, actually, because at first I thought that Tayo jawed him, and then he's falling backwards, catches himself with still backwards momentum, but
And
then,
flip.
like, yeah, it makes a lot more sense that he's doing what, like, Eagle kind of said. Like, where he catches himself on his hands, the legs swing back, and then you shoot the legs forward again with springboarding off of your arm strength. You know what I mean? To go forward again. Yeah, that's definitely what it was. Because I thought that he got hit, fell back, caught himself on his hands, and then launched himself further away from Tayo. But then
coming towards
turned
him.
around unexpectedly on page 2 to come back at him again. But no, I think he is. I think Eagle's right. He is just launching himself back towards Tayo after catching the punch.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, choreography in this
part that
chapter is
I-
really good.
The part that I thought was really interesting is that, like, from page 4 to 5, where he like reaches up for the shorts, I think he grabs a like, kind of like knocks the knee a little bit because he's basically on top of Tayo by the end of page 5, by the beginning of page 5.
Right.
He's managed to like get on top of him, grab both his hands, and pin his like shirt to the ground with the knife,
Mhm.
standing on each of his legs to like immobilize all limbs.
Right. That was fucking sick.
Yeah,
bro.
he's standing on this man's legs. I feel like
Take
normally,
down.
I feel like normally in this position you get like somebody sitting on top of him or something, but his feet
Yeah.
are on his legs. Like he
Yeah,
can't move
and
them.
this is all happening simultaneously too, because when he pulls the
Yeah.
knife out, shinks it out, and then like whips it to stab him in the shirt or whatever, you can see the impact illustrations for when he grabs the hands and plants both feet on his thighs. You get impact illustrations for all 3 of those moments, so it's all happening like at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's just like so cool.
Yeah, this man is different. This
Yeah.
really just shows that Tayo's got some training to do, man.
Right. And it's just
Yeah.
cool that we get this like level of like Momo showing, because it's like we know that he's a high-ranking assassin. He's literally the father of all of these prodigious assassins inside of the sibling cast. You know what I mean? So we know that he had to be cold, but it's been 130 chapters before we really seen him throw hands like this. So up until this point, it's like, well, it makes sense that he has the status that he has if he has abilities that he's been showing us the entire series, like turning into flowers to avoid damage and, very other like really subtle, like one shot and you're done kind of things. So it's like, okay, you're just broken in that way. But no, you have all of the fundamentals perfect. You have literally like, if you took away all of that flower power, this motherfucker would be like one of the coldest humans on the planet.
Yeah, like he never had to run. He just
Yeah.
didn't feel like fighting or didn't have time. He
Type
could have.
shit.
Right.
He could have been washed.
He has the time now.
Today I got time, cuz.
It's Father's Day. It's me day.
Dude, and
Yeah.
he be thick as shit though.
Yeah.
We're talking about how
What?
And this fucking on page 5, bro, like he the big body.
Oh, I go back to page 5 and just see fat back.
Big ass back,
He
thick
do
as
be
shit.
thick.
Boy.
No.
That's funny.
not
as
just
fuck.
the sweater.
I think we were commenting on that like a couple reviews ago too. When he was at the coffee shop drinking all the soda, there was like a zoomed out shot of like them at the table, and Buddy was like spilling out his clothes in a couple different areas. Like,
Dude, no,
Like,
he's a big guy because you
time,
can see him on page 10. He's a pretty solidly built dude.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
they did.
yeah.
They need to slap a beard on him for Christmas. Dress up like
Yeah.
Santa.
For
Yeah.
real though.
Oh, what
think
if
it's
he
awesome that we-
attacks? Because like with the calendar stuff, he'd probably do that. What if there's a chapter where Momo attacks the family with like a Santa outfit and a bag full of like presents and bombs and
Oh,
knives and shit?
my God.
I can see it.
He's like, "Hey kids, I'm in your house."
Family's supposed to be together for Christmas.
Yeah.
Dude, I could see that happening. I could see that
That's
happening.
That's fucked.
What you were gonna say something, Eagle? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's awesome that we finally get the exposition on these Sakuranbo things. in this
Yeah.
chapter, the dark cherries. They're not
little
actually
brothers?
his
Yeah.
brothers.
Yeah.
But they're like plant beings that Tsubomi kind of birthed for him
Yeah.
that can like collect semenine to help, in terms of reviving Rei,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty tight, and they're also pretty formidable in combat. So
Yeah, it was crazy because we were having the conversation like, bro, like, is there like an unknown like Yozakura uncle that hasn't been like introduced yet, and we're like finding out about him through this Sakuranbo Dark Cherry like transformation, like, because that was like a really dark point of the conversation, like however many weeks ago when we first saw it or
It's
whatever.
like, is he exhuming the remains of his relatives to like be the cores to these things?
Bruh. But yeah, brother.
And we were like, we believed it too.
Yeah, we did. I was like, yo, like we could totally see him
I
doing
was sold.
that. Yeah, like
I
that's
was sold.
totally in the realm of like what he will do. You know what I mean? So, but that was just like really crazy to think about. But no, it's literally just these creatures that were birthed from Tsubomi that he's just calling his brothers.
Yeah,
I-
like Poison Ivy calling like plant golems their babies.
Yeah, type
I
shit.
wonder if later, whenever we finally do get to like get the final confrontation with Momo before he's like, officially completely defeated, will the arc like, you know how you got to go through the henchmen and shit before you get to the big bad? Will there be like these
Yeah.
dark cherries, but like dark cherries perfected or version 2? Will they like evolve and become like more like intelligent combat enemies or whatever that we have
Oh,
to
man.
fight through?
It's like it's a
Sakuranbo.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's like a Nomu situation again. Almost.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Sakuranbo plus Ultra. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you were going there. Yeah. Neurons fired simultaneously.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. And then Kyoichiro is so like, hold on, bro. He pulls up.
Grade me too, father.
Yeah, he pulls up. He's like, grade me too. He's like, well, you always get full marks, so I want to make sure I grade you properly. So I'm a bounce for now. You could deal with these dark cherries, and I'm out this bitch. And I was like, aw. But then at the end of the chapter, Kyoichiro just fucking turns this shit into Roblox effortlessly. And I was like, yo, where?
Roblox.
Yeah, I was like, dude, Kyoichiro is so fucking cool, man. Like this fucking
yeah.
page on 18 where it's just like exploding into like ink splatters and shit. I was
Yeah.
like, just effortless one shot. I was like, damn, Kyoichiro really is the strongest sibling.
Yeah. Well, and I do like that even though he is outclassed, god damn, and we get another fucking on page 15. This motherfucker be thick as shit.
The
yo,
side,
I
the
do-
side
I do-
profile is nuts.
I do like that even though he as outclassed as he is, he does get a genuine like surprise attack in here on Momo
Right.
that I feel
Yeah.
if not for the Sakuranbo,
Yeah.
definitely like had a possibility of at least like maybe drawing a little, maybe he like has to dodge it and it kind of draws a little bit of blood out of the cheek or something. Like I feel like he genuinely kind of got him here if not for the Sakuranbo, although he seems pretty calm and collected.
Right.
Yeah, I really hope he got him, and it's not just I'll let you cut my hair
He
like
cut
he
his-
knew it would stop there.
Right.
What's interesting is if you look at his eyes, when you look at a Momo's eyes, they're always kind of a clouded grayed over, like he's not really there.
Yeah, type
Except
shit.
for two moments on page 11 where he says, in the end, love always wins, and the moment that, like, Taiyo cuts his hair.
He genuinely is having a sentimental moment right here in his mind, saying, like, you really did kind of catch me.
Yeah, like you've grown a ton, and you want, and despite him being like as antagonistic as he is, like he still wants to see the growth in these people, obviously, and especially in Taiyo, because that is still his daughter. So whether or not he like actually stopped right there because he knew the blade would stop where it did and like let the hair be cut just so he could be like, oh, Taiyo, you're doing it, or maybe he stood exactly where he was because he's like, Taiyo's not going to reach me, and then he actually did reach the hair, so now he's like, oh, okay, you got farther than I thought you would. And I just think it's cool how he's just like so outclassed the entire time, and as soon as Taiyo gets flexed on like this, he always learns the right lesson like right away from that. You know what I mean? And he's like, okay, so I couldn't do anything like 5 minutes ago, but he thinks up the new strategy right away to get him a little bit farther. He doesn't entirely accomplish his goal, but Hitsuji Gondaira gives him a little bit of progress, even if it's not enough, no matter what. But he always has to get whooped first, and then he's like, all right, I got you, I'm gonna try this now. And then it's like, okay, that was relatively effective, and it's just a good growth pace for Taiyo. It's not too much too quick, and it's not too slow.
Fuck yeah.
I appreciate that Taiyo's like main strength is like rapid knowledge absorption and like intuitive cleverness, right? As soon as the Sakuranbo showed up, he's like, oh, they're already loose to the ground. Use that, have hardening, like no hesitation, and that's the reason it works.
Yeah, he's like frighteningly adept.
Yeah.
When it comes to this assassin shit, you know what I mean? As someone who literally was introduced in the beginning of the series as like a regular ass high school kid, he hit the books hard as shit when he joined this house, you know what I mean? And I think it's really, you wanted to kind of just attribute it to like willpower, but like there is like a higher level cognitive situation going on here inside of Taiyo compared to a lot of other like shonen MCs historically. So he definitely has like a higher like analytical mind than I feel like a lot of people mightn't notice.
He's never been a meathead for sure.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he's got the hardening ability. He's gotten like the super broken, like Somanin like upgrade and whatnot, you know what I mean? With like the blossoming and like the white flowers or whatever, and how it like counters like, the dark flowers on the antagonistic side and whatnot. They've given him a bunch, but they don't make him wildly broken in every moment because of that. And that just feels really good. He has to use his head a lot of the times because he still is outclassed experience wise, despite having such broken, such a broken kit.
He's got a lot of potential, but this man Momo is just on another level in terms of like all this hand-to-hand shit and just experience.
I think it's really impressive because like as an MC for a shonen series that's at 134 chapters out now so far, a lot of I think that it speaks of the author's like strong measured hand in like holding the reins of like power scaling for a character, because we see a lot in so many series that we all read, and like like powers or abilities or skill sets or like tiers of difficulty, like kind of getting ahead of the whole thing and like running away with the show, and you're like, okay, how do we balance this anymore? But like that's never been a problem in Yozakura family. If there's an obstacle, there's an answer, but it doesn't feel like a cop-out. And like,
I think tying it back to plants is like a really good idea for like a power system or just like power scaling in general, just because that's like relatively familiar for a lot of people. Like I feel like the pseudoscience involved can like, really thrive just because like people just in general like know a decent amount about plants and how they like operate. You know what I mean? So like you can always just tie it back to some kind of botanical, or plant-based like nature factor, and people will be like, "Oh, okay, bet."
Yeah, and Momo's plan it makes sense and it's understandable. Like he's sucking up nutrients and shit, trying to get energy to power whatever ritual or machine is necessary to revive his wife and shit.
Like a critical Somanin mass.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that the Spy Association is now actively working against Momo?
Yeah, they're like, hold on, this motherfucker is tripping. We need to get this dude out of here. Like, and they're like calling all cars, like APB, like, type shit on this dude because he's wilding without any of the regular subterfuge and stealth and guile that he usually has. Like he's off his rocker. It's time to put him
It's
down.
obviously some huge news, man. Like I hope, I don't know, I have no idea what it'll entail. Obviously, like we kind of know the gist of it, like what they want to happen, but I hope Izumo has kind of a little way to help him out a little bit at least. But it definitely is kind of further reinforcement from Gondaira. Like,
Right.
Momo is literally doing active harm to the family that he claims he's trying to like help.
Yeah.
So it's
And he's killing
definitely-
like random people indiscriminately to like accomplish these goals and whatnot. So like we have mass murder going on here, like serial killer shit happening, and the Spy Association is like, hey, we be killing people, but like not like this.
Yeah,
we need to, like,
these
dial
these
this
people
kid
aren't
back.
targets. These are
like-
civilians.
Right, exactly. And the thing is that Momo has to know that the association would eventually start targeting him because like he went from being like, you know, man behind the curtain, man underneath the fucking manhole in the ground, like you never see this dude, and he plays everything so safely and so quietly up until this point. You know what I mean? And now he's at a point where like, yes, he looks like he's unhinged and off his rocker and like crazy, but he is still, you know, together up here strategically. You know what I mean? So he has to know with his like huge breadth of experience that eventually the Spy Association is going to target him for what he's doing right now. So he is going to be prepared for this, I want to say.
There's also the fact that like the Spy Association may be targeting the Yozakura family as a whole.
Well,
it does say disposal of the Yozakura family.
It says disposal of the family.
Based on the wording,
Oh,
it's
man.
not just Momo, and they're like, because of Momo, we've deemed the entirety of the Yozakura bloodline too much of a threat. How can you guarantee that these people aren't going to end up like Momo again, and we'd have to deal with this again?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it reminds me of that moment in Solo Leveling, where at the end of the series, spoilers, sorry.
I mean, I dropped Solo Leveling.
Yeah, this is for the listeners. But like,
for sure.
Spoilers for the ending of Solo Leveling. He saves the world, great, but then the government's like, "Do we have to kill you? We can't control you." And he's like, "You really want me to do all the work of saving the world and then trying to kill me? Do you want me to destroy the world? Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone."
I actually know what you're talking about because just the other day, actually, I was in Discord with someone, and I think it was Kichi, and he was like, let me go read this last chapter of Solo Leveling real quick. And I was like, I dropped it at the Chimera after the Chimera Ant arc, but like, yeah, let me go read the last chapter too. And I like went to the last chapter and got to that scene where he's at the table with the dude in the suit, and he's like, yo, so you're just gonna fucking try to kill me after I'm done being useful to you? I saved the world, and now you don't have any like more reason to like keep me employed.
How are you good?
Yeah, so now you're like scared of me and you want to like take me out now that I've like handled the threat that you couldn't handle. Like that's kind of
Do you want me to be the threat?
Yeah.
Do you want me to be the threat? Because I will.
Yeah, that was tight. I remember that.
It makes me think though, like, is this another like 5-brain tactic by Momo? Like him causing all this shit. He, like you said, he has to know that the Spy Association is going to react, so they're going to send people to try and take out the family. Is that his way of like
bringing
creating
the
another
family
obstacle?
together?
Yeah, and
Like now
giving
we
them
have to
into
team
us
up
versus
against
them.
them. Yo.
Now we have a common enemy besides other than the fact that I'm, you guys see me as an enemy right now, but like now we can work together as a family, eliminate like the Spy Association, who is this big organization that does not agree with what I'm trying to do, but also like, you guys are going to grow stronger.
You didn't do anything wrong, and yet they're trying to get rid of you. That's not fair. We have a common enemy now. Let's go get them.
Yo.
Yeah, and he's
them,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
That's us, yeah.
And he's like, Daddy will come and, Dad put this problem on you guys. He'll come and save the day. And he, makes it look like he's cleaning it up.
Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah,
it's like I may have been poisoning you, but like I'm taking care of you as you're bedridden.
It's like this is your fault that this is happening. Like, anyway.
Yeah, that's going to create
Sinister.
even more conflict inside of the cast because they're already in a really awkward situation just having to fight the dad in general. And now that we have all of this information about what Momo has been doing and killing all of these people, now the Yozakura family is actually like, okay, priority number one. But then now if you introduce this situation where the entire spy family is against them, they would have no choice probably, or maybe they would have a choice. We'll see how it's written. But like, I want to assume that they're going to get to a situation where it's like, yeah, we really got to stop this guy, but the Spy Association is actually after us. We might
And
really
getting
have
in
to,
our way.
we might actually have to team up with Momo here, and
Yeah.
like, that's just gonna be whiplash, bro. Like, oh my god, like, what is the right thing to do? Like, what is the correct course of action? Do we fucking not team up with Momo and then have Momo as an obstacle as well as the Spy Association? Like,
Yeah.
you know, or do we
It's
just
like-
team up with him, deal with that, and then try to beat him after? It's just so awkward and weird.
Kind of like being forced to, do the tournament of power and have Frieza on your team. It's like, this
Right.
guy sucks. We got to take him out, but like, we really need his help right now because
Yeah.
like
Right.
they just initiated fucking John Wick on us and sent like
Yeah,
the
they sent
entire
the Buster
fucking
call.
yeah, like all of the world's assassins are coming for us now, and
Yeah.
like
Oh man, it's major.
Well, that might function as sort of like Taio's new training arc.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like defending the family for a while, and then also them like they'll have to go through that period where they'll have to fight a bunch of people, and then they'll have that point where they have to argue their case for the idea of like a social contract among killers, where it's just like, hey man, we're not worth like targeting like this.
Right.
We're on the same side.
yeah.
We want to get rid of Momo as well. He's crossed the line, that kind of thing.
Right.
I can see it. It's
See if
just
they
like
gain conditions, like
Hmm.
yeah, you can operate, but you have to do this, this, and this, and have like an exchange of power and favor or something like that.
Momo could essentially be forcing his family to get rid of his enemies at the Spy Association.
Oh yeah.
Like people who would get in the way of his research. Like his family might not have all the resources to figure out where and what he's doing, but like the Spy Association could probably catch wind, and it's like, let me get my family to keep these guys' hands full.
Yeah. Wow.
Mhm. Oh yeah, so that he can infiltrate the spy association.
Oh
and
yeah.
get-
So then the spies
Yeah.
come after the Yozakura family and distract him, and then he goes back into his like fucking
He
starts
does
like
planning,
shit.
high movement ability, like disappear into flowers like type
Yeah.
shit to do some
What if he like fills
subterfuge.
the spy association building with like Sakuranbo? Like, oh, that's a potted ficus. Cool, plant, and then just waits for the day he needs it.
Yeah.
Boom, explosive growth. The entire
Yeah.
like spy association already
But-
tired after fighting the Yozakura family, get drained, and he's like, yes, you are higher quality nutrients. Excellent, good.
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
He could like
no.
introduce a virus into like their whole system by them getting distracted dealing with his family. He can
Right.
sneak in and hack their computers or something. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
See what
as
they
shit.
know about him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had anything else for Yozakura family this week though.
Yeah, I think that's about all I had as well.
The last thing I had to say was on page 6 when he says you have 0 points. The little 3 panels to the left of his face, I really liked like the motion in that middle panel, and then like the kind of like speed blur that you kind of get for like the feeling of like approaching Momo's head.
Mhm.
I really quite liked that into the transition to like 7, and I
Yeah.
thought that was like a fantastic, like well done cinematic feel for like a 2D print medium.
Yeah, that was real good.
Only other thing I had was that I was personally kind of getting to starting to feel like maybe Yozakura might be getting towards its end, but this new shit at the end kind of it lets us know that there's at least one more arc between
Yeah.
now and the final conflict with Momo. And I don't know if I said it here, I don't know if I said it on the show or just in conversation, but I really want there to be like like a second family, like and I don't know if you guys ever seen Codename Kids Next Door, but they had like the delightful children from down the lane. I want like another
Yeah.
spy family who's like a rival, but like
Yeah.
we don't have like a rival family.
Where's the second best family? Yeah, I thought we were gonna get like some fucking
the McCoys.
Yeah, I thought we were
Yeah.
I thought we were eventually gonna like, go out into like some Game of Thrones houses kind of like rivalry like situation.
Kind of shit.
I want to see another like faction that's like
Lannister
together
versus
like them.
Stark versus Targaryen, like Yozakura versus whoever.
This would be the perfect time.
Yeah, this would be the time to introduce the second best family in the spy world.
I mean, yeah, this is a gold rank meeting, so that like we're gonna get probably a lot of big players here.
Yeah, the world building is about to be insane in the next couple of chapters, and I'm so here for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shit. I think that about does it for Yozakura then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and jump right into Jujutsu Kaisen chapter number 188. Motherfucking admire. No, what's the name of the chapter? Fuck, that's the name of the song. Tokyo number 2 colony number. Or Tokyo number 2 colony, part 7. Jesus Christ.
We got it. We got there. We
made it.
Anyways, I think it's hilarious and awesome that Gege literally like wrote a song for this chapter.
Right.
And like I guess the way I interpreted it was kind of supposed to be played over the events of the chapter, and in the anime in a couple of years or whatever, we'll see it kind of represented that way.
Yeah.
But it was a little confusing. Like, is that how you guys kind of took it as well?
Well, because like we know that when he hits the jackpot or whatever, the music is following him throughout his 4 minutes and 11 seconds as he fights Kashimo. Like last chapter, the chapter before or whatever, you could see the musical notes like in every panel with Akari. True. And then there's like the Billie Jean reference, like as he's like grabbing his crotch and like dancing while boxing him or whatever. So we know music is playing while he's invincible or whatever. But I don't think we knew what the song was until right now. And I personally, I think you should have just had the lyrics for Billie Jean right here, because it's like you did the reference, you did the whole thing. You probably got to dodge copyright or whatever. You probably can't do that. Yeah, but like it's just like, man, now that like that veil has been shattered. It's like I was listening to Billie Jean, like reading the fucking chapters over again and whatnot, and like now it's like, no, it's this made up song for the manga that we made up.
It'll probably follow the same like rhythm and shit.
Yeah. You kind of like how like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and like Hot Cross Buns are like the same like thing or whatever.
Yeah, it'll probably go along the same.
Maybe
like,
not those two, but you know what I'm talking about. There's like children's like rhymes that follow the same like melody or whatever.
I like it though. It gives a little more to the world building. Letting us know that hey, like there's musicians in this world. There ain't just boxing. People making songs out here.
Right. Yeah. And just having this first page be the lyrics to the song is just like points for immersion anyway.
Yeah. It reminded me of like if you're somebody who like buys like Jump magazine or whatever, you turn the page and you see this, you're like, what the fuck is this? And then at the bottom it's like, this manga is Jujutsu Kaisen. You're like, okay, so this isn't a random insert page.
Just in case you're worried.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a mistake. I don't have a rare magazine that I can sell for whatever.
Yeah, and Gege's gonna have people singing this shit, you know what I'm saying? It says right here, sing it loud at school, work, or in the bath. Like, I bet people in Japan, maybe even people in the West, like, have this song stuck in their head, never even heard it before.
Yeah.
Type shit.
The way this chapter started, though, man, was so fucking tight, bro.
Yes.
Just 9 straight pages of high-octane action panels before we even got any type of dialogue, monologue, narration, anything.
This is a double-page spread on 2. This is real quick, sorry. This is a double-page spread on 2 and 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because I have it on I have it on my vertical screen, so I have to like click through it or whatever.
And then there's another double spread on 6 and 7, of course. Yeah, 9 straight pages of just straight action, no dialogue. I love that so much from Gege, and I feel like it works so well for him, them in particular, because of how smoothly the action just flows through the panels in this manga. And like we've said it many times on the show, we've commended that. I just can't praise it enough in this chapter specifically.
Right.
Like when they're volleying the fucking shipping container back. Like Akari said.
Like,
Kashimo said, okay.
That
shit was...
The motion blur, like on 2 and 3 on the double page spread is like really fucking cool as Kashimo is like running so fast. I feel like I haven't felt speed you know, like this, like in a while, you know what I mean? Like just like the blur against Kashimo's like movement following it down that like diagonal decline, like down the page, like really puts me in the scene. Like I feel like I'm moving that quickly with
the
them.
buildings in the background is
Yeah, like the way that it's like so I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like you took a pencil and you have like, you know, hard shit underneath the paper and you fucking like, you know, just like quickly swipe the pencil over the hard shit underneath the paper to create that like like an etching. Why can't I find words? I'm so bad at that
because of poneglyphs in One Piece.
Yeah, like I'd be just like so like verbose and just like saying way too much to say something so simple, and then you or Mello or Yato will be like this, and I'll be like, yeah, 2 words, you did it. Like fuck.
But continue though with
I was just saying, like, it's just like cool how it has that like etched, you know, like effect, like to create that like motion blur. It feels very like, you know, 3D.
It does
very,
look like
immersive.
an etching. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Really want to see this in the anime where they're just fucking banging these fucking shipping containers back and forth.
Yeah, and you can feel the movement, like as like on page 3, like as Hikari is like coming to the shipping container that he's about to punch. Like that perspective is so gas because we already have
he's
the
like
setup
running and just jumps and just so smoothly you can feel it.
Right, like I think just like this page in general like creates the speed of motion so well that by the time you get to that bottom left panel of Hikari midair about to punch the shit, you like really feel like you're like on the way to it with him. You're like both jumping to punch it at the same time. Like as I'm reading it, I'm like, you know, for the first time or whatever. It was just like so good. And then he fucking rocks that shit. Kashimo's like, bet. Boom, knocks it back, and then they keep getting closer to each other, knocking the fucking shipping container back and forth, and then by the time they're, you know, super close to each other, it's just until it's just non-existent.
Cool as hell.
Yeah. So
the container.
So when I imagined it, I thought of like that kind of hollow sound you get from like hitting those drums and stuff. And then thinking about like the music is playing, and I'm thinking about it animated with the theme song playing in the background, and like the if they do like really tight editing, they could do strike drum beat, strike drum beat
to the beat would be insane.
And then, like if you go to that 6-7 where they are approaching each other and pummeling that thing flat as they approach, just the drum solo, right? Like,
dude, that'd be so good.
I completely forgot, like during this, that there's music playing. Like,
I want to see that like taken into account when they animate this, and like the part on page 8 where Kashimo's expecting, like the little like thinking ahead, like. Just kind of foreshadowing. I was like, man, I feel like he's doing really, really well. Like you can see the like the breadth of experience where he's like, oh, I'm not just doing this to do this. This fight feels good. I'm doing this to kill you. Like I'm going to be thinking ahead of you the entire way. And it's just like it just kept through. And I think Hikari's just been, you know, exceeding expectations after being outwitted.
Right. Yeah.
Last thing about the action, I guess. Dude, when he fucking bashes him in the face with the door of the shipping container, dude, like I don't know if I've felt something more in manga for a while. Like,
makes you know,
and you see his face just like come apart, and his fucking teeth are flying and shit. And then the next gory ass panel on the next page.
Where he just has no skin on the face, like no nose just gone. Like, oh my god.
Eyelid.
And it's crazy too because they like finally finish bashing down the shipping container, and then Hikari goes for the super right hook, and Kashimo seems to like backflip over it while grabbing the door.
Well, he like grabs the door and kind of like just kicks his legs up out of the way.
Oh, there we go.
Like, slims back and just
yep. So he grabs the door, lifts himself up to dodge, and then on the way down, baps him downward with the door, and then uppercuts it with him afterwards.
I think he's kicking him. I think he's kicking him on the way down.
He kicks him down, and then
he comes back.
He comes back with the back swing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense
you
too.
see the line of kind of the motion
impact,
impact line coming from kind of his leg there.
It's just also following like the same trajectory of like his, like it seems like he's like the follow through of the door. It's like also following that path. Yeah.
It does look like that, but I think like
I like-
Melo was about to say, it looks more like a heel that's hitting his face when
Yeah.
you kind of look at the art.
That makes a lot more sense, absolutely, because you can see the moment of contact for this attack above the panel where he has the shipping container in his door in his hand, and that looks more like a foot or something than a door. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Plus, he's like jumping above him. His feet are like up there. The door is still like in the ground or on the ground, so he's using it.
You're totally right. Yeah, absolutely. There's just like it just doesn't work physically for him to have brought this fucking door down in the panel sequence that we got. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that Kashimo kind of affirms what something Mello and I were talking about on the last show, in the Jujutsu Kaisen segment, where we were kind of like, there has to be some kind of limit to this, automatic passive regeneration, like, only because if you destroy his brain completely, you would think that's kind of enough to do it. Like, how can you come back from something like that? So he does kind of affirm that in this chapter, where he's like, if I can, deal enough damage to his brain where the reverse curse technique stems from, then theoretically I should be able to kill him even in the unkillable state, which basically almost happens.
But then,
But I think Hikari's only able to. What was that?
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you look back at like hidden inventory, when we first got information about reverse curse technique from Gojo, basically when he was fighting Toji hit him with the fucking.
Say it stemmed from the palms or some shit.
I don't remember that. I do know that Yuta shot like reverse curse technique like out, or reverse curse energy like out through his hands or some shit during the.
He did with his mouth
fight.
too when he bit
did
him.
It with his mouth, and like I think they said something about his like I remember the mouth for sure when he like French kissed him and blew his fucking brains out or whatever.
Yeah.
But then like I could have sworn there was like dialogue or something that or narration that let us know that it was coming out of his hands too or whatever. But in hidden inventory, when Gojo is fighting Toji sneaks him with the fucking inverted spear of heaven and like fucking stabs him in the throat, rips it out, stabs him in the fucking femur like 17 times, and then takes a different curse tool and stabs him right in the forehead, like on his way down as he's falling after the blitz or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, and then that was when Gojo was like, okay, I'm gonna stop fighting back and just focus all of my shit on reverse curse technique so I can heal myself. And then when he pulls back up on Toji after he goes and gets paid for the job, like Gojo has a scar like on his forehead from when he got like stabbed in the brain and shit or whatever. He still has a little like thing there. So
getting one stab wound to the brain is like a little different than just like fully getting your shit charged. Like
complete obliteration.
That is true too. Yeah.
Which I think the only thing that prevented that from happening was that kind of like we saw Hikari kind of augments the passive reverse curse technique with like actively expelling the energy from his nostrils.
I think that the charge, like, because like it is lightning speed and it does just like instantly zap you and damage you or whatever, but we can clearly see on 11 from panel to panel how that energy is building in his skull. You know what I mean? Like you see the veins start coming out. So this is probably like really compressed time. Like this is like literally milliseconds of him thinking and feeling this, and then going, this is gonna blow my brain up. I need to start healing right now. And then by the time the explosion would have blown his head up, the reverse curse technique has kind of gotten ahead of it and is like starting to
from a passive mode to like actually active reverse curse technique.
Right, yeah, he's like learning on the fly like how to use reverse curse technique like actively instead of just because of the overwhelming amount of energy flowing from him from the invincibility. So he's like, wait a minute, if I just focus real hard, I can stop this in its tracks. And then he like shoots it out of his fucking nose and like blood is fucking flying everywhere. Like that was like the beastest shit ever. It reminds me a lot of like when like swordsmen or just like martial artists or something like that. Like there's like a moment in Hunter x Hunter where Killua tries to like kill Machi in the Phantom Troop arc. He like augments his hand, like give him the same claws that ripped out Johannes's like heart in the Hunter exam. He like does that and like tries to attack Machi with it, and then Machi like takes it to the gut and then like flexes her fucking like stomach muscles around his hand so he couldn't get the fucking hand back and shit. Or like when fucking Zoro's fighting Killer in Wano, and he fucking hits him with the scythe through the fucking titty, and then he like flexes his titty and doesn't let him get the scythe back. It's like the same level of like beast mode as like that in this scene for me.
Like Yeah, he says he ejects my cursed energy out of his nose, so it's like he's rerouting it too. Like I guess all of it isn't like staying. Like he's getting hit with it, but he's kind of like opening a second path for the cursed energy to go out of his nose instead of just
If-
fucking blasting his
feels
Oh,
brain.
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel good that he does that because I think about like if you think about like a lot of martial arts stuff, which a lot of the jujutsu stuff is based off of, like chi and cursed energy and stuff, like breathing techniques is like one of the first things we talk about. Like Breaker, right? One of the first thing he does, work out a ton, and then breathing techniques.
Yes.
For circulation of energy, and I was
Yeah.
like, all right, this totally tracks.
Consistency.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
that's real good.
This fight is just really interesting because like I feel like neither person has really shown everything they can. Like Hikari is just it's weird because Hikari is like, give me a point so I can make a rule, and Kashimo's like, I'm gonna beat your ass and you can tell me where Sukuna is, but like but like this is a kill move. Like
Yeah.
no, there's no no way around it. Kashimo is not expecting this man to survive a lightning bolt to the brain.
Right.
And then and like when he heals, he's like, "You almost got me." He doesn't like, "Oh shit, that was fucked up. Let me back up." He's like, "You almost got me, bruh.
Yeah, he's
You
like
zapped my brain,
having the time of his life. Yeah.
but it's still cool, dog. Let's keep going." It's
Yeah.
like,
Fun.
Yeah, it reminds me of Elusive Samurai when the rematch with Shokan, where like Shokan like sees that they're coming down on the wooden pillars that are on fire or whatever, and he's like, hold on, wait a minute, we can't fight this. It's time to retreat. He whistles for his generals and then goes down the fucking embankment. And then Tokiyuki follows him down there and like almost gets stabbed in the face on the way down. And he's like, dude, I thought you wanted to have a conversation. And he's like, your death is fine too. Like if I would have killed you right there, cool. But since I didn't, now I want information from you. Yeah.
It's on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some shit like that.
The fact that Kashimo's staff came back into play
Love that.
is fucking so nutty. It's so incredible. Like, just such a great representation of his extremely high level of like combat awareness in terms of like positioning, right? Obviously.
Yes.
Also, the fact that the way it was explained didn't even really seem like it was meant to be an offensive attack. It was more so just like an ability meant for him to retrieve like a stockpile of cursed energy that's accumulated in the staff. Right?
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's like
And he just like
resting
in this
the staff.
instance
Yeah.
used his adaptability to use it as an offensive ability
Yeah.
because the pathing was going right through Hikari's body.
Yeah, maybe it's a situation where it's like Kashimo knows that he's got to tag you with his hands in order to put those positive charges on you in order to activate his like negative charges and create the zap. There has to be some contact involved. But if he charges up the Nyoibo staff with electricity, then even if he's in a situation where he can't land a hit, he still has a reserve of charged up electrical power over here that he can call in case he can't reach his normal conditions.
yeah.
I don't even know that he hit him. I think like because in that panel where the bolt is passing through him, there's no like impact lines, no impact.
That's what
marks
I'm
or
saying
anything like
is that like so after he comes out of the healing his brain, it's all Hikari like just beating his ass until boom, the fucking staff starts buzzing and there's an electrical current that he's calling, and Hikari just so happens to be in the way of that recall. So that's why he got
positioned
fucking
himself.
that's
I
why
don't
he
think
got
it's
his
just so happens.
That was
right.
planned.
Well, yeah, like he set it up, but I'm saying like he didn't meet the original condition of hitting him with his hands to put positive charges on him because Hikari just rushed him coming out of the last zap that he tried. He tried to zap he built up the charges in hand-to-hand combat, tried to blow up his brain. Hikari countered it and then just started whooping him, and Kashimo didn't get a hit in himself. And then now all of a sudden there's an electrical current coming, even though he never placed new charges on Hikari. And that's because he charged the staff, positioned Hikari in front of the pathway between him and the staff, so then when he recalls that energy, Hikari just so happens to be in the way of it, and that's why he took the damage despite not having any positive charges on him.
Yeah.
Like how,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Small.
The TCB scans, I reread them after the one comment on like the last episode, because for a while I just stopped after a while. I wasn't.
Oh yeah, I do remember
Yeah.
seeing that. Someone was like, "You guys should read the TCB scans
and I
more
was like,
often."
you
And it's
know
like,
what, I
dude, we
should
do
do
every time. What do you mean?
Like normally we do,
Yeah.
but
And I don't.
I was slacking, so I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want like spoilers. I want to go in fresh, you know. that
Yeah,
kind
and not like we, as in like all of us, but like we
Yeah.
make a point to comment on the
Mhm.
difference between TCB or
Yeah.
fan translations and the officials
references-
pretty often on this show. So
Mhm.
yeah,
It references the Noibo staff, like it calls it the Noi staff.
yeah,
And
yeah. That's
then
why I said that. That's right. 'Cause
they
it's not
call
in
it-
here. Yeah,
They call it like returning electrical strike, or and in author's notes, like it's a returning electrical stroke kind of thing like that. So
Oh wow,
It's
this is actually
always
way different. Kashimo retrieved cursed energy as electrical feedback along a chosen route through Hikari. And then if you go to that exact same panel on TCB, Kashimo used the lightning's return stroke to pull back the charge accumulated in the Noi staff, landing a direct hit on Hikari, who was between himself and the staff. That feels a lot better. I mean, like
Yes.
they're both like saying like the same thing, obviously.
thing, yeah.
But like the TCB translation for it just like feels a
little
lot
bit more
more thorough. Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Gives
and
you
you get
more.
this translator note right here too, in between the not just you Hikari panel and the Kashimo used the lightning return stroke panel, and it says Gege used this combination of kanji return electricity strike in parentheses explaining that, and then instead of okay, so it's just talking about a difference in the kanji that was used or whatever. Okay.
But I really like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see the distance. Like this big page, you see like where the staff is to like where it's zapping is. Like these guys traveled this much like distance in like 2 minutes.
In no
like
time.
they were fucking flying.
Yeah.
And then this panel, like right as the panel where it's like Kashimo retrieved the energy, you see the lightning like coming through before it does the damage. It's kind of like you see the flash of lightning or before the thunder or whatever.
Yeah,
like
yeah, type shit.
yeah. So it's cool. You see it, and then like next page,
You
fucking
see it on Hikari's face at that moment too. He's like, oh,
yeah.
He's
shit,
like,
now.
shit. He probably feels all tingly, like, oh no, like he probably like
And then-
hairs raising on his fucking arms in the back of his neck and shit, like, oh
They'll
shit.
do that in the anime, maybe like.
Oh man, yeah. They give him
Yeah.
a fucking poofed out afro.
Not
Yo,
even that, like the hairs on the back of his neck start to stand up as it passes through him, or
yeah,
some shit like
Yeah.
type shit. That'd be fucking sick.
Go
Yeah,
slow mo for a second.
yeah.
He Kashimo like comments on him getting faster, and I think that happened. I guess in the last like as the thing is winding down, he gets faster because that happened in the last chapter too, when Hikari and Kashimo were fighting, and then Hikari had that like fucking Hisoka moment, and then he like
Yeah.
he tosses Kashimo, and then he stands there for a second, and then. Like there's a couple times where you see Hikari just vanish, and
Yeah.
he's just like on Kashimo. That happens here too. Like Kashimo
Right.
goes for a punch, Hikari just out of there, gone, nowhere to
is
be seen,
weird
and then he
because-
appears again.
Yeah, which is weird because it's like how you already have infinite cursed energy at the start
Yeah.
of the 4 minute and 11 second mark. So like, why would the increase in speed happen towards the end? It can't be that you're getting more cursed energy because you're already at an
Yeah.
infinite level. So I think it's just him going, I have a couple seconds left. I need to put my fucking all into these last couple of seconds. And then it's
Yeah.
like maximum potential of that infinite amount of cursed energy that he has access to. Like maximum effort for the final like 30 seconds or whatever. Which would mean that he's like maybe technically holding back
Yeah,
until then?
that's what I was gonna say. I still think he's holding him back.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know that
think
he's necessarily
he's-
holding back. I think that he just heats up over time because it goes back.
yeah.
To, I saw somebody post on Twitter. I can't remember a panel of Yuta saying like, "Oh yeah, Hikari, he's even strong. Once he gets worked up,
Once he's on a
Yeah.
roll.
he's stronger than I am."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like there's still scenarios that we haven't seen. Thinking back to like the big diagram panel of all the scenarios and shit laid out. I feel like we still haven't seen like the highest tier scenario, which wouldn't surprise me if, in a near-death experience or maybe even like the third or fourth time he expands his domain is when that would come out.
I got a theory
Okay.
coming up.
Okay.
So people are like, "Oh, you're fucked. He's dying out. He's gonna bleed out. He doesn't have enough cursed energy to regenerate that stuff." The brain, they established in this chapter that the brain is the core of, reverse curse technique.
Mm-hmm.
So the jackpot domain happens regardless if he does anything. And so if Kashimo doesn't actively like kill him right away, and just waits it out, there's a chance that the brain will die last, right? Like, because the brain is one of the last things that dies.
Yeah.
Like the heart can die, the body can be physically pronounced dead, but there will still be like a little bit of your brain that's
Brain
still
activity.
like firing synapses. So what if he waits it out? His brain is still firing as he's effectively dead. Jackpot. Brings him back, just regenerates him from that moment.
Oh, because he's gonna get a jackpot no matter what because of the previous, scenes where he used his domain expansion. And like, I don't know anything about pachinko. Obviously, we've talked about that a couple of times.
He says he's super lucky.
But
it's a higher probability for another jackpot in the next.
Right, exactly. So I think we're at a point now where it's like jackpot no matter what or some shit.
Yeah, I think
jackpot off the first one.
So so like he could expand the domain and just fall over. You know what I'm saying? And then like Kashima will be like, all right, so what, I just gotta wait for like his curse energy to run out and then this domain goes away. I like effectively won or whatever, but then the jackpot's gonna ding and he's gonna be Undertaker, like rise up like the Undertaker.
Or it could be a scenario where like he's like, oh fuck, I don't remember this scenario. What do I gotta do to stop it? Because he can actively interfere with kind of the shit that's going on. Like, because I remember, I think somebody was saying like, oh yeah, piss yourself or get off at this next stop or some shit like that to try.
That was for the character, because like Charles Bernard already tried to interact with the characters.
Right.
There's no physical way to interact with them. They're just doing sound bites and like projected images.
Yeah.
So there's no way to really interfere with them. The only thing that you can interfere with is the sorcerer itself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I was gonna say that too, because I could have sworn I remembered that Charles was like, all right. So it's this, that, and this. Let me see what I can go here, and it was just like no effect or whatever.
Yeah. Like the opponent isn't actually playing the game. They just got to beat Hikari before he gets a checkpoint. But I think part of the rules was that like on his fourth thing, he gets a guaranteed jackpot. So I think this is actually just guaranteed jackpot here.
Yeah.
I'd have to look again.
Because this is
his third activation. I mean his fourth activation.
Right, and I want to say, I don't know if there's got to be like something else as the reason why this is a guaranteed jackpot, because I can't, and again, I don't fucking play pachinko, but I want to say that it feels weird that a pachinko machine would just automatically give you a jackpot just because you tried it 3 times already. Then like everybody would just like win a bunch of money their 4th time playing the game, like no matter what or whatever. So there has to be like some kind of other condition that allows this to be a guaranteed jackpot. I know it's like a 4 consecutive whatever, and then you get one, but I don't think it's just 4 consecutive tries gets you an automatic jackpot. I think
it's like, it might be like the hat trick thing where it's like 1, 2, 3, like jackpots in a row, right? Or like if you get like 3 strikes at bowling, you get like a turkey and you get like bonus points.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And like good things happen in 3s. You see in like superstition and like gambling all the time. People see patterns. It's a prime number, It's like,
Could be like a pity system too, or like just Hikari. We know Hikari stacks the deck. His Fight Club stuff. He stacks the matches and shit. So there could be just more to it that like the player that we don't know or whatever.
Right.
It's weird that like Hikari still hasn't used everything. Like Hikari hasn't tried to like hit Kashima with the doors that he attacked Yuji with.
He's not using his like actual curse technique coming out of the domain. He's just been
fisting him.
Yeah,
it's like we know he has more moves. We know he has more stuff. Like he hasn't tried to like cut him in half with a door, or like he hasn't blocked with the door. It's literally just been hands.
Yeah, we saw that one technique against Yuji where he like did this kind of motion like with his hands, and then the doors came out or whatever. So like that was his technique there, but he literally has not used it ever since. Yeah.
Maybe it's just moving too fast. Like, because we've commented on how fast this is all moving. Maybe it's just like it has to be hands because he don't even got the time to like wait for the channeling.
Oh, sure.
What's the delay on the curse execution?
Yeah, I want to assume that like your curse technique
was too fast, but like for a sorcerer of this level, like,
I know the doors in that one page. Though, I think in that one page when they were going over the rules, they were talking about like there's like 3 or 4 different colored doors, and there was like a golden door that had like the most speed. Like they had speeds on the doors. But just I don't know, it just feels weird. And like a couple weeks ago when I was a guest, I was saying I had the theory about like Kashimo using rules points as like an offensive measure. I was saying that like I think how this is going to end, or a big a big thing that may happen is that Kashimo has 100 points.
Right.
He was the first person we saw with 200 points.
Yeah.
And I was saying that I think Kashimo might implement a rule making it so that like in order to activate your domain, you need to spend 5 points. Somebody like Hikari who wouldn't have gone out and killed random people wouldn't have any points, so he can't do it. So like I feel
Right.
like that'd be a perfect way to stop this endless chain of
Domain expansion.
domains. But like what kind of stopped me from having that thought a week or two ago was when Hikari was like, if I beat you, give me your points. And Kashimo was like, okay, but like if I win, you tell me what Sukuna is. And I kind of felt like he was like having like this honorable agreement, like, okay, I won't use my points for something because I promised this guy if he beats me. But then Kashimo tries to blow this man's head off. It is like, if you blow his head off, you can't get information about Sukuna. Like, what's the game plan here, and how is this going to be resolved?
I want to say
Kashimo's never held back ever in his life.
and I want to say that another possible route that Kashimo could be going here is that like we could see a counter expansion of his domain now, right? Because you want to say, well, if he had a domain, why hasn't he used it yet? And that can be, tied back to all kinds of like honorable factors. You know what I mean? Like I only think that my domain should be used against Sukuna or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you are not like worth, like I can kill you without it as like a test to like myself to see where I'm at, see how tight I am type shit. Like, yeah, you're broken, but if I feel like I can still kind of deal with you despite how broken you are. But now it's at a point where it's like, okay, you should have been dead here, but you're expanding a domain again. Okay, well, now I could probably just use mine then, since this isn't going to end unless I do. Now he probably like if he does have a domain, I think he uses it here. And I think that could be another possible way to go.
A weird condition, right? Because like they have the heavenly restrictions and they impose things on themselves to like gain power. What if his domain is like Yato said, customized for Sukuna, and his condition is that he can only use it once?
Yeah.
Whoa.
He's like, I designed this thing for Sukuna. It's an anti-Sukuna domain.
Yeah, but you don't design you don't design your techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen. That's
he could have put like a restriction on it, like some sort of heavenly restriction type thing, maybe.
Like, I will use this on Sukuna only
maybe.
Heavenly restrictions are like placed upon you involuntarily, though.
Just a binding vow.
Yeah, binding vow. Yeah, I wonder if you can interact with your own techniques in that way for domain expansion. That would be some pretty cool
like next time I use it, it'll be 100 times stronger, but I'll only use it on Sukuna.
Yeah.
Use this domain twice because lightning strikes twice or something like that.
Okay.
I get 2 shots. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just really ready to see.
Yeah, I would just think it would be cool if like he had a domain this whole time and just didn't use it because of ego, and now he's like, okay, well I have to fucking use it because this dude is not going to stop, and I thought I could kill him anyway, but I guess I can't. So Ryoiki Tenkai.
Yeah, I'm just really surprised that these guys have only been throwing hand. Kashimo's throwing in, a lightning bolt here and there, but like for the most part, it's just been boxing. It's like we know Hikari has like the doors, so like he hasn't used that for reasons. It could be just the fight's going too fast, and like this guy is boxing with people. He's just going around beating the shit out of people, and he wants to fight Sukuna. He has to have more than just hands and a staff.
Yeah, and this like electrical discharge shit. You know what I mean? Like Kashimo still hasn't used any technique. Yeah. Like if this is all just like passive, cursed energy or a property manipulation, then like what's his actual technique and why hasn't he used it yet? And also, if he does have a domain, then that means that this is like one of the highest level fights that we've seen in Jujutsu Kaisen on a 1v1 level, but also like the most unorthodox because it's just hands and domain expansions with no techniques being used. It's just like how many different kinds of like combinations of scenarios can Gege like, create in combat for his series with a power system like this deep? Because it's like, I did not expect to see a fight like this based on how important curse techniques have been historically in the series. So that's really exciting. And I love this panel on the bottom of page 18 where it's like the staple Kashimo panel where he looks through the hole that he blew in somebody. Like we got that again. And I was like, oh no, it's actually like really over then. And then you turn the page into domain expansion and it's like, oh shit. Because like when we first met Kashimo, it was like after he had already blown a hole through someone, and he was just like looking through the whole, like, and that was like such an iconic panel for his introduction. And it's like, we're getting that again here. So it's like, okay, this is your thing. You be blowing holes in niggas and looking into the guts like regularly.
Oh my god,
man. Question.
Yeah.
We saw the noise staff discharge electricity. Where's Panda's head?
Yeah. Good question.
His head was there. Does that mean that Hikari did not come alone and someone went to go fetch Panda's head?
Yeah, the last time that we saw his head was on top of the staff, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, someone came and picked it up.
Just got up on some shit.
Yeah, there's no like remains or anything near there.
Yeah, I mean, could Panda just like does Panda have regeneration?
He's not a human. He's a doll. So like theoretically.
Yeah, I think I like the idea that someone came and like grabbed it better. But then like, oh, it's got to be Charles.
Oh,
right,
Charles.
Because anybody else would just become a fighter in this situation. They'd be like, what the fuck's going on here? Like the only reason why you would walk up on this situation, see a panda head, pick it up and take it away is if you were working with Hikari specifically to do that. Because if you're just a random culling game player and you walk up on this situation, like, you're probably gonna get sucked into the fucking Popeye fight cloud. You know what I'm saying? And like just be involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't want to be around with those smoky.
Yeah, this person came in sneakily, grabbed that shit, and bounced. So it's got.
You see this Yogi Bear looking motherfucker. He's like, "Hello there." He's like, "No, I'm with that guy. Can you help me out?"
Yeah.
Charles Bernard with the Pink Panther music in the background.
The car probably told him like, "Gotta go help my panda buddy out." You know?
Yeah. Nah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I forgot about.
It's sad because like even if Panda's head was retrieved by like Charles or like another ally or whatever, I still feel like Panda just like has to die because he doesn't have like the equilibrium to continue his consciousness because of the other two souls being gone. So like it's eventually just going to like degrade and depreciate until there's just like it's too unstable to continue sentient thought and then just like die or whatever. You know what I mean? Which is like sad because like we know that Yaga told Gakuganji like you need 3 souls in the body at once to create that balance, to keep the life going, indefinitely. Whereas if you only use 1 soul and put it into a doll, like you'll have life for a little bit, but eventually that will depreciate into nothing because you don't have that like 3-way system of support to keep the consciousness like alive or whatever. They attributed it to like a triangle and how like the vertices and like points all come together to create a solid foundation equally across the shape or whatever. Yeah, so it's like without the other 2 souls, like Panda's just eventually going to die, even if he was like picked up and taken away from the situation. At least that's what I think, especially if we're looking back at like Kokichi, Mekamaru's situation, where it's like, yeah, Mahito killed you, but there was like a loophole in the cursed energy power system that allowed you to continue to exist for a little bit until, we know that ran out and then he just eventually died. So I feel like it's a similar situation to that, and that's just like really sad. But
we also
I definitely don't want to see Panda go out.
Me neither.
Did get that one panel back in that conversation with Tengen where Maki said her plan was to join the Culling Games and meet up with Panda, but don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think Maki might like pull up on the situation like after the fact, like maybe Kashimo just left and Maki like just sees like bloody Panda remains and like even maybe a dead Hikari, and it's just like,
Maki's the one that came and got his head off the staff.
Then she would get involved.
I mean, maybe she was getting them all put together first.
Yeah, she could have grabbed him, taken him somewhere, made sure that he was straight, and then she could enter before the end of this fight. Yeah, absolutely. If that is who pulled up,
artifact to like maintain his consciousness or something like a triage item.
Yo, that's actually like really interesting. Like, what if there is just like a cursed tool of some kind that can allow Panda to continue life?
And it hits you like 9 points in your forehead, and as long as those things stay in there, you can't die no matter how badly your body's damaged.
Yeah, or some shit like that.
Body or something.
It would definitely make sense that Maki would have that out of anybody.
Yeah, you gotta look at the timeline because I don't remember like what when Maki kills everyone. Because I remember.
Oh right, I think that was like right before the Yuji and Higuruma stuff, wasn't it?
I know. Remember during the conversation they were having with Hikaru when they were trying to recruit him, and Megami's like, he's like, "Yeah, I'm the head of the clan now." And then, like in the panel next, it was like Maki obliterates the clan the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
like,
yeah. That's right. It's before she kills them before Yuji and Megumi go into the culling game.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I think
she
that's
probably
pretty
has
much
like a
it
whole
for
bunch
me,
of
though.
yeah.
This is a cool one. I
That's
liked the
good.
little song and like the idea of like exaggerating all the time being like a little bit like something that Hakari might resonate because he does seem to put himself out as a sort of larger than life character, wanting more of the fact that he's willing to gamble on everything because he wants that little chance, that excitement.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I think that's about all I had for Jujutsu Kaisen this week, though.
Yeah, I think I'm.
We got
I
a
think
pretty
I'm good
chunky
too.
conversation.
Yeah, that was very chunky, despite this being like 9 pages of hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
the
I think
chapter,
I'm
man.
good.
Can't wait for the next one. Obviously, what a cliffhanger! Even though it's like, see, this is how you reuse cliffhangers. I just want to say that. I ain't gonna point no elbows. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna point no fingers in any other series. But like, if you're gonna keep reusing the same cliffhanger, like, I feel like it feels like way better in Jujutsu Kaisen than like anything else.
Yeah, and I think this is the last time we're gonna get this particular one. Like Hikari,
Yeah.
I don't think next week's chapter is gonna end with Hikari doing another domain expansion. This is probably the last one. The fight might conclude next week or a week
Yeah.
after that.
I really don't want to see him die, but man, he
Me
definitely could.
neither.
Yeah.
Me neither. But it's like it's Jujutsu Kaisen, and we've
No,
been winning like crazy this whole arc.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like this would be the character to die. Is
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say. But
I feel like I want both of them to survive, but like
yeah,
how?
yeah, exactly. And I think I agree with that too. Yeah, but it's just like the uncertainty factor is just like astronomical in Jujutsu Kaisen, and like that's stakes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All
I'm
right,
good.
well, I think that about does it for
Yeah, I'm good.
Jujutsu Kaisen, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and get into chapter 356 of Boku no Hero Academia regarding the enemy.
Yeah.
And love the way this chapter starts off, obviously with Tsukiyomi and Jiro doing sort of like a combo attack where she like rips her jacket off real quick so that he can like wrap it around his little dark shadow wing so that it can get big in
Yeah.
like the darkness and he can actually kind of deliver that the powerful blow that is like the decisive mass breaking blow.
Yeah, that was really cool. How
Yeah.
It's kind of lacking in the power department. You know?
Yeah, that was tight. How it's like, yo, stop the light from reaching this part of Dark Shadow long enough for
Yeah.
it to get really big, and then in like the split second after it gets big, before light hits it to shrink it again, I rocked your shit.
Yeah,
That's
that
fucking
was huge.
dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so nice to see them like deal the mass breaking blow, especially after Alfron was like talking mad shit about them being like worthless extras and fucking pesky gnats and shit.
Side characters.
Showing this new generation of heroes nothing to be played with, man.
Exactly.
Which Hawks also points out. So yeah, that's definitely dope to see.
Yes. You thought they were just buying time, didn't you? Even pesky gnats can be a pain in the ass.
I like, Horikoshi I think does do a good job. He gets a lot of criticism for kind of letting a lot of these characters fall to the wayside. But I do think he does a pretty good job in terms of like giving everybody their little moments to shine.
Yeah, when it is time to use them.
Yeah.
I fuck with that, right? Because it's like, yeah, that is like a major complaint inside of My Hero Academia is that a lot of these characters that like people came to love in the early game have kind of been relegated to background characters. And Kohei never promised that these people would be wildly relevant or whatever in throughout the entire series. So like that's fine, but it's like we still did kind of like want to see more from some of these characters that ended up being like thrown to the wayside, kind of like you said. But then whenever Kohei does decide like we are going to use these characters, it's always so potent that it's like, all right, fine, at least we got it now type shit.
It's really cool that it's not like during some fucko villain. Like this is all for one.
Yeah.
Like this is the
all
big
the marbles.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
the big boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is Tokoyami's like second time fighting the big guy. Like he fought against Redestro too, and like broke his legs.
Yeah,
like,
that was nuts.
Yeah,
That shit was
this kid's been
crazy.
getting some shine. Yeah,
Yeah, and it doesn't feel too weird, like, you know what I mean? Like, Jiro, isn't as used as, like, a lot of other like characters or whatever, like the pretty small time like secondary character or whatever. But then like up against All for One, you're like, oh man, are you gonna like die or some shit because the power gap is like that insane? But it's not just like quirks clashing and they're being effective. It's our quirks normally wouldn't be all that effective, but the way that we're using them right now in this moment is like very, you know, like we're adding a lot of like nuance to it. It's not just like my quirk running into your quirk and we're dealing like significant damage to the final boss of the whole fucking story. It's like, no, this was a very niche, very conditional, very specific moment where your quirk was effective against him. So it feels really good. Yeah.
And they waited for that exact moment. We got some badass moments like Jiro took that blow, lost an ear. Lost one of her ear jacks. I was sad as fuck about that.
Yeah, I was like,
I feel like you don't get that kind of damage for female characters in these type of stories.
Right.
Not the face, right?
Yeah.
Recovery Girl, yo, come on, where
I don't think Recovery Girl can kiss this one back. It's a lost limb.
That's a bad boo-boo.
That's major.
Well, and I think Recovery Girl's like out of the picture, kind of in a way.
Yeah, maybe.
They were at least saying she couldn't heal Hawks. Like I think her quirk is kind of waning.
Yeah, well, Recovery Girl is just Airy now.
Yeah, Airy gonna be.
Yeah, Airy gonna get that ear back. It's all good.
Maybe
she had her little practice with the frogs.
We need to see more of that. Yeah.
Man,
she got Mirio back. She can get Jiro back. She's like a perfect with it now.
Where's Mirio at? Yeah, get his ass out here. Get him out here. Yeah.
Showed up at the last minute, as you know, as heroes do.
Right.
What do you think? So, looping back to page 5, what do you guys think about 4 and 5? What do you think about that? Where Beautiful. It's like the quirks are rebelling, and he's like, "Oh, it's because I've created like these are copies. This is all of the powers that he's using are like copies." So he's offloaded a bunch of the OG quirks into Shigaraki.
Mm-hmm.
And well, not only that, but like, not only are they copies, but like he's also still got the lingering effects of
New Order.
Star and Stripe, New Order, for fucking with it. Like they're still rebelling because of that, and yeah, that's just wild that we get that inner monologue.
And it's tight because he's like, damn, these motherfuckers are really rebelling. Fuck that Star and Stripe, bitch, man. Like, holy shit, I'm like kind of like losing it. I gotta remind these motherfuckers who the dad is. Yeah. And you get this crazy imagery where he's like his like, you know, fucking All for One space, like reclaiming domination over these fucking quirks and whatnot. And it's just like, don't forget what time it is. It's All for One. What the fuck? Y'all can rebel all you want, but it's Big Dad over here. You feel me?
Yeah.
These are my quirks.
That, we're seeing the kind of quirk vestige consciousness concept coming into play more and more with the All for One side of things since the Star and Stripe shit went down. And especially since it's kind of literally the antithesis of One for All, where we obviously see that the vestiges within One for All
are all in harmony,
actively and often, you know, help Deku in like his efforts and his growth and shit like that. Whereas All, you know, what All for One now, they're trying to impede his, you know.
Yeah, they're all cussing him out like, "Fuck you, guy. We're not working for you no more."
I think that's that aspect is super well written by
Hell yeah, no, like it's super cool that like, you know, opposite spectrum parallel in regard to All for One and One for All's vestige space representation. Yeah, that shit is fucking killer. And I love the art on this page on 5 too, where Hawks' fucking blade is like going across gutters like from one panel to another too. I just always love when manga can do that.
Literally go over the gutter there. I don't know why, but you know.
It's cool either way. Yeah. But you want to know what? I think I'm with you. Over the gutter would have been tighter. But like under the gutter is still mad cinematic. You know what I mean? Because especially if you're following it like, you know, top panel, middle panel, bottom panel, you're not looking at it, you know, as a whole page or whatever. It's like boom. All for One is flying. Up until now, I had to catch him off guard with sneaky moves, which wasn't enough to finish the job. I can see this in the anime. The whole screen being taken up by the top left panel as the fucking blade is coming, and then it kind of zooms out to show the whole Hawks, you know, with the whole shit. I could totally see it being directed that way in the anime, and I just think that that's just cool how it's represented with the moment to moment time passing in the manga medium to show it from one panel, then the gutter, then in that little like fucking, I don't know, parallelogram panel where you actually like see Hawks. I don't know if that's a parallelogram, but you know what I mean.
This AFO panel is serious though, because it actually
Yeah.
does like cut off like the words. Like
Yeah.
Hawks is like can kill him, and like half of that word is cut in half by just fucking
Yeah.
The
AFO.
menace.
Yeah.
Just this horror movie film type clip of just the
Right.
monster
Yeah.
of AFO just eating these quirks.
Yeah, I think it's like
Terrorizing
supposed to
it.
be like a like he's cut off in his like way of thinking just because the malicious intent and like malicious like pressure
Bloodlust.
of All for One's bloodlust as he regains dominion over his quirk situation inside of himself to shoot the tendrils out in the next chapter or in the next page. I feel like Hawks felt I felt like Hawks for a split second could feel before the tendrils came out that All for One was about to do something crazy as just like an instinctual like spiritual pressure flex and like retrieval from Hawks. Like, oh shit, this dude's cooking something crazy. Yeah.
Because the next time we see Hawks, he's like guarding Tokoyami. So yeah, he felt that shit. He felt that shit was like, nah, gotta protect the kids.
Yeah, something's happening inside of that man. He's about to do something insane.
Fastest man, seriously.
Yeah, and then the tendrils come out and there's fucking blood everywhere, and I'm like, oh no, Hawks, are you like done? Like, oh my god, like wait a minute, did Hawks take like super serious damage here? But then you see that Endeavor, okay, obviously he shoots the tendrils out, grabs pieces of, you know, the shattered mask with the tendrils, and then starts reclaiming them. That was super tight. It was like cool. Extra value, like 2 birds, 1 stone. Huge damage coming out to the tendrils to whoever, you know, enemies are in the way. But the reason for it is to grab these pieces of the mask and bring them back together. So like that was really cool. But then Endeavor comes and like blocks like one of the tendrils and like runs through his fucking hand, and he like breaks shit seemingly to save Hawks. But like I could have sworn that Hawks definitely took damage because there's blood splattering everywhere, but no, it's fucking Endeavor's blood. Yeah, and I was like, oh man, that was so well done.
Yeah. You can see Endeavor on page 6, the trail of flames coming up in the big panel from the bottom right.
Oh
yeah, I didn't see the flames there at first.
Wait, you're talking about on page 6, the top, the Wretched Pest panel.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
you can bottom right, the trail of flames coming up.
Yeah.
I did not notice that at first. Wow.
It's so subtle. It's barely
Yeah.
I was just thinking one of these black splotches was him like up there, but like I didn't notice the trail.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
Oh, nice. I really like this jagged looking like mask reconstruction. It really like because like AFO likes to get into people's heads and be like the dark mirror, right? He likes not having a face. He likes being, you know, the emotionless monster that like basically just mimics emotions to get at you, to show you and like prod you where he feels like you're weakest. And like I like that his like, you know, the mirror's cracked for him now.
Yeah.
This is like it's showing a more raw version of himself, a more honest one where he's like, I hate you all.
Yeah.
Like because like if you go to like because I think because this is also like that ties in itself because of like Enji's next interactions, like starting on page 9 through 13, where he's also reflecting against himself after having had AFO kind of throw everything. It's like, you never found your son's body, did you?
Yeah.
Just all that stuff, like really forcing that self-reflection like a mirror does.
Right. Yeah, no, that was really well said actually.
Yeah.
I love this fucking like on the 8 and 9 spread, how it ends with this like panel of like high school Enji, you know what I mean, with this like expression on his face, like kind of like disappointed in the man that he became going into this imagery from like 10 to 13 and whatnot, where it reminded me a lot of the imagery in like one of the most recent chapters of Undead Unluck. There was like that cover page where it was like Elder Rip, like with the stark white background color page, like walking forward, and then like his young self, like, nah, bro, like this isn't the right direction. You know what I mean? It's like imagery like that is just like always going to slap. And especially when you have a character that's been built up like as much as Endeavor, you know, and has all of these sins and all of this shit that he regrets and like this fucking crazy career path that he took for himself. Like, inside of superheroism, and it's like, man, I bet you the high school child inside of him is like, dude, how the fuck did you turn in to the Endeavor that we got at the beginning of the series? Like, dude, what happened to you? You know what I'm saying? And I like really want the fucking Endeavor like spin-off, like side story, like him coming up in high school, like all the way until the starts of like My Hero Academia and whatnot. I feel like I have never wanted a side character spin-off like more at this point. Like, this is like, especially because of this chapter showing us this like conflict in the imagery. I'm just like, dude, I want this story.
Yeah, the back half of this chapter was like so beautifully written.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you said, the scene that we get of him, you know, with this kind of inner monologue with his younger, purer self about how through all this, you know, pain, struggle, wrongdoings, obviously, he's never really recognized that the true enemy he was always trying to fight was like his own weakness and his own insecurity in terms of like how weak he perceived he was because of, you know, events that happened
and what he felt like he needed to do to reach All Might's level just completely gave him tunnel vision and made him completely forget why he started this in the first place. And it's like,
lost focus.
What was the moment in his life that replaced that like childhood, you know, inspirational ambition to become a hero with the very like sinister, you know, quirk marriage kind of character that we got when the series started? Like, what was that pivotal point in his life that gave him the ego that we, you know, he was introduced with?
I mean, it must have been the point that he realized he truly was never going to be like All Might.
Yeah, I think All Might is what did it.
He never really wanted to recognize it, right?
He rotted in the
chapter,
shadow of All
he
Might.
does kind of say like, or, you know, kind of acknowledge like, I'm just a cog in the machine. You know, my purpose now is to end this fight here.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a
there's just got to be a super
well written by Horikoshi, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% can't praise it enough. I just can't stop thinking about like what the catalyzing moment was like in Endeavor's life that put him into hyper aggressive try hard mode.
I mean, what if he's like sitting in a fight, struggling hard as fuck? It's a high diff, extreme diff fight. All Might comes in like,
one shots it and is like, and this is what number one hero is, baby.
And then all the newspaper and the crowds, everyone like, you know, everyone congratulates All Might. They talk about him on TV and shit. And they're just like, Endeavor was there, but All Might saved the fucking day.
Right, effortlessly. This motherfucker was fighting for his life. You know what I'm saying? Until All Might pulled up and was like, let me show you how to do this here, okay? Boop, boop, boop. Another Tuesday, I'm back to the crib.
Reports was Endeavor was at the first on scene.
Life, man.
Everyone comes out there, they got like All Might fucking like hats on and shit. And t-shirts. All Might saved the day. Endeavor's like, bro, I'm out here fighting for my fucking life, and everybody come out here with All Might merch on. The helicopter's blue and yellow, like, y'all can't give me no love.
The helicopter is All Might colors. I'm dead.
They're just pissed, yo. Everything around them, yo. Just All Might billboards
like a World War II plane. It's just a smile and like that hair.
The plane's got his stupid smile.
No.
Looking around like, bro, they really don't fuck with me out here,
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so then he loses the arm to the tendril, right? Which is like kind of I think because like I was watching Eagle's reaction and I had never noticed it before, but then Eagle was like, wait a minute, the tendril goes through the arm and Endeavor says, fuck that, I'm still going forward, and leaves the arm behind, lets it get ripped off.
I think he rips it off himself.
Type shit. Yeah, like I can't keep going forward with this thing in my arm, well then fuck the arm, I gotta steal off this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like so hard. Like, oh my god, you can definitely see when it disconnects too, and it's like split across like the two bottom panels on page 8, where you see the arm. It's like, wait a minute, is that arm being ripped off? And then you get to the bottom left panel of page 8, and it's completely severed. But then he picks it up, we get the imagery, and then it kind of confused me at first because he has both arms throughout this imagery, and then you get to 13, and he has both arms too there, but then you're like, oh wait, no, this is still imagery. He's like holding his like younger self or some shit, like you know, as an older person. I think he literally
created a flame on.
And he definitely replaced. He fills in the gap with flame.
Fist. I think he used that to attack, but also cauterize his own wound.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
As a way to do that. The part that I really want to touch on is there is a difference in the scan. So if you go on page 11, he's like, recall how your father attempted to save a girl from some bastards and wound up as a corpse with the girl. That's bad. That's pretty sad, right? But if you go to the TCB
So
scans...
wait, what page is this?
11.
Page 11.
Okay.
Page 11, when he sees the dad on the stretcher.
Yeah.
But in the TCB scans, instead of like... It's like, remember how you saw your father try to save a little girl from a villain and how they wound up as nothing more than scorched lumps of burning flesh, which implies that his dad fucked up really hard and like couldn't control his quirk and like killed both of them.
Remember when you saw a father try to save his little girl from a villain and how they wound up as nothing more than scorched lumps? Oh, so he accidentally
died.
Doesn't it say a father too? I'm going to pull it up myself now.
Yeah, saw a father try to save his little girl from a villain and how they wound up as nothing more than scorched lumps of burning flesh. Yeah, does that
versus the official saying your father.
Oh.
Yeah. So the official says yours.
Well, you would assume that he has the same quirk as his dad, so it can be it can be inferred even with it saying a father.
Oh no! What if that's Deku's dad? Because like depending on your translation, it could be Enji's father, yes, but then it could be Deku's dad because Deku had a fire breathing. His dad had a fire breathing.
Oh yeah, he could like breathe fire from his mouth.
And he died, and we're like, where's Deku's dad?
Wait, did we know that he died?
But we haven't seen him. That's the thing. Yeah. So like, depending on which translation or which combination of these translations, like I was initially in the camp of like, I'm primarily like, I would say 80-20, right?
Yeah.
80% I believe this is Enji's dad. The fact that his father died and disappointed him, he's part of that cycle where he's like, you know what, my father tried too hard and died for it, and then he's doing the same thing. He has become his father. He's probably going to die to save a young girl, just like Jiro or something like that, and have like that parallel thing.
Yeah, so coming back to the translation then, because like I guess I like didn't read into the official translation as much as I probably should have, because I was coming off the TCB when I first read My Hero Academia, and I saw it as remember when you saw a father. So since the official says remember how your father attempted to save a girl, so then this was probably the moment that I was talking about earlier in his life that like put him into hyper aggressive try hard mode.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, my dad couldn't control his quirk and fucking killed people trying to save
be the best with
somebody and killed himself. Yeah, like I can't let that happen. We got to get these quirks understood and trained and like under control, and that can like start the snowball effect of like, you know, super try hard training and like making sure that your shit is on point. Otherwise you're just gonna end up like my dad, and like that dude is a bum. So
it doesn't matter your intentions if you end up a smear on the sidewalk, like, or 20% chance, like, you know, there's an off chance could be an explanation for how Deku's death, and you're like, wow, I watched that, because like watching someone die in like a traffic accident is traumatic. A power-based death, witnessing that as a young man, probably just as traumatic in that kind of world. And that's just something I wanted to touch on.
Yeah, that was cool. That's a cool thought.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's his father, but it'd be crazy if it does turn out to be someone else's father and it comes up later like Deku.
Yeah, that'd be wild. That'd be major.
It's crazy. Like, since we're in the final arc, I feel like some of these things, like Deku's dad, has to come up. But like, where?
Right.
Like, when would we get like a mention of this man's dad? This man's
character at all? It's like, sure, you don't want to have him in the story forever. Like, that's fine until we get to the end of the story and you still haven't used him, and it's like, well, what's the reason for that?
Yeah, we get to the end. It's like, hey, so by the way, Kohei, where was Deku's dad at?
And it's like if he was just like dead or something the whole time, it's like, is that really information you just want to like throw in at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Other than the fact that like I really liked page 5 when AFO was like reasserting his dominance, it reminded me of Francisco Goya, the Francisco painting.
Oh yeah,
it's like Saturn devouring his children.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's cool. I
like
that.
That totally. What is that called again? Fucking
Saturn devouring his child.
Saturn devouring his child or his son. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
super. Oh wait, that's not even the one that I'm thinking of. Oh wait, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yep, Saturn.
Yeah, Goya.
Saturn.
Yep,
And
Saturn
then
devouring. You've definitely seen this painting before, Yato. It's like super famous. It's like a giant like Gilgamesh,
great
like
horror.
yeah, like big like fucking like Sasquatch looking dude like
I do
eating an
not
arm.
know if I've seen this, but I have now. This is sick.
Welcome.
Yeah.
There's a thing that I wanted to touch on for the quirks thing. So, like, the fact that they're rebelling, do you think it's because it's a combination of A, they are reproductions based off his, like, ability to manifest quirks and stuff, reproductions, and the fact that, like, I feel like maybe those quirks' consciousness were so subdued by his, like, personality that they weren't, like, awake or
Right.
anything. They were, like, sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Dormant. And then Stars and Stripes interaction forcibly woke them up because they're like, oh, if we die as a quirk, we're dead. Now we're awake, and then since they're awake, they have the ability to rebel.
I was
Yeah,
seeing it as a situation of like they just weren't rebelling because they just understood the pecking order, and they were just like, well, we're just fucking stuck in this like, you know, space to be used by this dude who we have no way of interacting with or defeating, so might as well, and they're just like docile, you know, like
Could be.
in that way. And then Star and Stripe came in and like introduced a situation where it like weakened that, you know, dominance, you know, presence like from All for One, and now they're kind of like able to, you know, and then now like with maybe his like weakened like state of perception that he comments on, they're like, hold on, this is our chance. Hey. So I think it's a combination of like everything that was just said. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it's a combo of all of that. Just like stepping looking into Jujutsu, I feel like in the end with spoiler for people who are watching this and don't read Jujutsu Kaisen, but with Kenjaku, I feel like that is like ultimately how they're gonna end up defeating Kenjaku. Like something's gonna happen and like Getso inside is gonna like stop him from avoiding an ability that he could have avoided or something.
Yeah,
So,
Gege
like, I think-
uses that panel like way too much, where like the other consciousness inside the body is rebelling in some kind of way. Like we've literally gotten that for fucking Yuji with Sukuna, and now Geto with like Kenjaku. So I think that will eventually be a factor. Yeah.
I think it's similar to what's happening here. Is like these other wills inside of him are gonna like fucking fuck him up at a point where he could have like dodged a big blow like this with the Jiro and fucking Tokuyami thing. Like it'll probably happen again and cause him to be defeated eventually.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's it for me though.
I think that's about it for me this week with my heroes.
Yeah, I think I'm good too.
Yeah, just only other thing I thought of Fuego Leon with the flaming fist thing when I saw this.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Boy on his Fuego shit, boy.
Yeah.
Fuego Leon.
Yeah, I'm
Big
good.
Fuego vibes.
Yep.
All right, well, that does it for my hero. All right, well, with that, I think we can go ahead and jump into the last chapter of the night or day, I guess. I don't know. I guess we usually record at night. Anyway,
Right.
1053, chapter 1053 of One Piece. Fucking. Oh, shit, I'm on the cover. New Emperors.
Emperor's New Groove.
Dope. And we start off with this, obviously, this dope ass cover. What the fuck? I can't even speak. Which I guess, I don't know, I was told in the live stream chat is commemorating like a One Piece video game that's coming out, like a JRPG.
Yeah, they were talking about that, and they said it was going to be turn-based. I was like, let's go, that's totally my bag. And you were saying you didn't really like turn-based shits, but I'm sitting there like, nah, this is my shit.
Turn-based
I like
combat to me feels just like too...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I grew up on Final Fantasy type games, so I love the turn-based stuff. It's for me.
Oh, yeah.
I like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. The
Tactics
character
Advance
designs-
was one of my favorites, bro. Oh my god.
I bought that game so many times because I lost it so many times.
Oh,
but
damn.
like,
Yeah, you got to replace it if you lose it.
the designs remind me of Dragon Quest or like,
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah,
Both of those are Akira
especially
Toriyama, I think. Yeah, I think both of those
especially
are.
like the little seals. I remember like the throwback for that guy coming back because I remember the episodes that they were there. They're like a bunch of seals. And they're like,
Yeah, it makes a lot of
they
sense
kick
because I
ass.
think Oda is like on record and just like obviously in his own manga is like heavily inspired by Akira Toriyama. You know, like we see all kinds of
I mean, look
Dragon
at that
Ball-esque-
dinosaur.
Yeah, Dragon Ball
Yeah.
shit goes on like a lot in One
Look at
Piece
that.
and whatnot, and then like Akira Toriyama did the art for Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest, so this being reminiscent of those like is just on
Like
point.
the bats, the bat and the dragon. That little green dude is horrifying, by the way. I don't like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what
Dentures
is up
for a
with
face.
that?
He's like a butthole bear or
Yeah,
something.
and look at fucking like weird like
Yes.
Kafka-esque like Mr. Krabs behind him and shit.
Yeah, he's like
Oh my
drooling.
God. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think Kafka-esque was the right thing there, but yeah.
Yeah. When I
like
saw
that.
this, I was thinking it was for his open world game, but that's World Seeker. I think that's
Yeah.
open
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, it is.
So
That
I
is
actually
I like
didn't
the,
know
the
that.
Tengu lion in the back, man.
Oh, I didn't even see Buddy
Chewing
with
on
the Oni mask. Oni mask lion. Tengu is the long
Yeah.
nose, the super
Oh
long
yeah,
nose.
the
Yeah.
Oni mask lion.
This
yeah.
is. It looks like a foo dog, right? Like
Yeah.
the stone lions. Yeah.
Well, and Buddy from Alabasta, the turtle seal thing. Isn't that him?
Oh, I thought that was the fighting food or not
Fighting
fighting
Foodons.
No, not fighting foodons, but the
Dun,
kung
dun,
fu
dun,
kung
dun,
fu
dun.
dugons.
Funku.
Yeah, the
The
kung fu dugong.
funku
Yo.
kung fu dugons.
The Funko Pop dugong.
Yeah,
I
Funko.
think isn't that the lead one
Funko
though that
Pop
Luffy like connected with? You know
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
think so because he's got the scars and shit. And he's got like the Bruce Lee like scars across the fucking puffer jacket and
saying? He's
shit.
got stripes out here. He been in the field. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
enter the
Exactly.
dragon John. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
Dude.
But,
Who
love
is
the way
this? Hold on. Who is this dude? Oh, my bad. I was gonna say, who is this? Who is Buddy with the white hair and the pistol?
Probably just a main character in the game, man.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I think
Maybe that's
what it is.
you. Maybe that's who you are.
Fuck it. I'll take his hair.
Sky P Engine.
Get in there.
Yeah, I like his
what you
tats. Yeah.
His tats are dope. Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say I love the way this chapter starts off. It always slaps hard as shit when we get these like post arc times in One Piece when the latest feats and you know antics of the Straw Hats are kind of spreading throughout the world.
Yeah.
And slaps even harder, like kind of lately post time skip these last few arcs where we always kind of get the Gorosei also like,
Right.
man, what the fuck, bro?
Right.
We really gotta rein this motherfucker in.
Yeah.
And they're freaking out this time about how obviously we get the Gear 5 picture on the bounty poster, which is dope. And then
Yeah, I
we get
love that.
from his name, which is weird that they would want it removed now as opposed to not wanting it removed up to this point. I guess notoriety wise it makes sense, but
Right.
I think
people
it's
been
like
known about my man.
it allows the idea of like, you know, referencing Goldie, Roger, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think it's just to minimize things now that he's like actually a problem.
Right.
Plus, like he's in his Joy Boy form, so
Yeah.
like I think that's also a big thing.
Yeah.
And hey, Eagle, props to you.
Yes.
You were right. You said the boys were gonna hit like the billion berries
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of mark.
a billion. It was just like
Yeah,
had
it's
to
3.
happen because you know
Yeah.
you don't come out of an arc like this where you beat a motherfucker with over 1 billion bounty and have that become public
Not
information.
match that
with-
yourself.
Yeah, without you reaching that billion, you know, berry bounty yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and initially I thought, were you gonna say something, Yato?
Oh no, I was about to talk about like them having the same bounty, but go ahead. I'll
Well,
come back.
I was going to touch on that as well. I was
Okay.
going to say initially I thought it was kind of weird and whack that all 3 captains kind of got the same identical bounty because obviously I'm one that roots for Luffy. He's my
Right.
pirate king.
Right.
I'm not one of these motherfuckers out here that wants to see him get his ass beat and fail. But
Right.
I digress. After thinking about it for a while and seeing some like other takes, like I watched in our heart, and I don't like to reference other content too often on the show because I like to keep it strictly to like our takes and opinions. But I
Yeah.
seen in our horror video that was really good on it, and I also saw IRL Soul King post a clip of a different content creator's video,
Mhm.
just touching on how the world government looking at them as an alliance, kind of.
Right.
It really makes sense because back when they said Kaido and Big Mom is the strongest alliance in history, pirate alliance in history,
Mhm.
their total bounty was 8.9 billion. And so 9 billion total puts them, just slightly edging that out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
also
Definitely totally makes sense in retrospect after having seen some other takes and
right.
stuff on it.
And you want to look at it as like, as far as like, we were there for the arc, like we were on the island watching it happen in real time. According to everyone else that's getting this information secondhand, all they know is Luffy beat a Yonko, Kid and Law beat a Yonko. Like Luffy, like Kaido and Big Mom were defeated by these three. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you look at it as like Luffy beat a like they all three beat a Yonko, they all should all get the same like bounty. If like the rest of the world is kind of like looking at it as like, yeah, that makes sense. It's like these are the
Well,
three
normally, yeah.
Yeah.
In this specific case, though, we did have CP0 kind of like actually reporting all of the actual events. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they wanted to cover it up.
Yeah, even then,
And then Morgan said, no, this is what happens. So
Yeah.
the whole world knows that these three beat a Yonko. So the world government is probably like, okay, well, like cat's out of the bag. Like here's the bounties for them, like type shit. Like they all beat a Yonko. You all know that. Here's their bounties, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
even like outside of that, like the everyone in the battleground area knows that like it was Luffy, but like I think the people of Wano were like they heard that like Kaido was defeated by Joy Boy and that he's left or whatever. So like there's still a lot of people who still don't know the truth, and I think a lot of this chapter is just the
you're
government is just the government miscommunication. Like they're talking about don't put the D on there, and then I feel like them giving them all the same bounty is to like not make Luffy look like such a big deal.
Sure.
Like Luffy's a huge deal being Joy Boy. They don't want that information getting out, and like they don't want people like, they don't want people looking up the Luffy as the next Roger. Roger and the One Piece inspired the pirate era. They don't want like people going like, Joy Boy's back. It's time to fucking hit the seas. We gotta be like they probably don't want another big pirate era revival type thing, even though it's not dead. But
and the conversation that we're having right now in regard to like this information getting out to the rest of the world is like what we're talking about when we mean like stakes and consequences in One Piece, despite the fact that no one really seems to die. I saw people comparing the end of Wano to like the end of like Black Clover Spade arc, and it's like, are we finally ready to have the conversation that One Piece didn't do anything different than Black Clover? And it's like, dude, One Piece has a living and breathing world. You know what I mean? When this information reaches the four corners of the shit, that's going to come back and reverberate and affect the plot significantly, and we have no idea how that's going to go. That uncertainty level is astronomical, and that is the kind of consequences and like the way that One Piece creates stakes is that the way that information travels and what people will do with that information afterwards.
Yeah, I got more to say about that later.
Yeah, for sure.
The last thing I guess for the number, the bounties, at least for me, is that we already know like it totally makes sense in terms of like Oda's writing style. We already know he has a huge affinity with like number sequences and like sets of 3 in particular. So definitely makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's right too. I think I heard something like that before as well.
But yeah, as far as like we touched on this already a little bit, but it's crazy that we see Morgan's defying the world government's demands on censorship for the second time in a row.
Hell yeah.
When it comes to
Love
like
that bird.
Luffy and the shit he's doing.
Yo, they might clap his ass.
Yeah, they might be like, all right, buddy, you're fucked. It's the last time. We get you out of here.
Journalists that did the Panama Papers.
I wonder if he's got some ulterior motives or if he's like literally just I don't know. Like I wonder if he's got ulterior motives outside of the like entertainment point that he was saying that he's trying to further, right? Because I don't know. Obviously, we know he's a non-human race. I wonder if that fact kind of plays into it. We also know he's like an information mogul, but I mean, a lot of these non-human races have been theorized, at least, to have kind of been allied with the ancient kingdom in the past. So maybe his people have some kind of void century lore that he's that he hasn't mentioned, anything about.
That's cool to think about, actually.
That could be a cool thing to think about. It's obviously kind of a reach, but
yeah. I also just think it's really cool to just have a character that, like, represents like impartial, news delivery. You know what I mean? Especially in a world like One Piece that's this big, and like one of the main points is like the corruption of the world government as far as how it treats its citizens and how it withholds information and tries to put on this like air of morality and altruism and shit like that, and to have them constantly trying to do sneaky shit behind the backs of like the public, having a character centered around like news delivery and like being like, hey, Like, regardless of like what side anyone is on, like we have to report the truth as it actually happened. That's just like a cool element to have in a story like One Piece.
Yeah, I fuck with Morgan's journalistic integrity.
Yeah,
he's gonna get that story out.
Yeah, journalistic integrity. That once again, you guys coming in with like a way better way to say something that took me way too long to say. But
I mean, he has been shown to have been like kind of a sus, motherfucker in the past. So
yeah.
He's on his own side.
Specifically in terms of Luffy, maybe it's just kind of the plot in that way, being that he's reporting on the main character. But I don't know. Maybe he knows Luffy's Joy Boy. He recognized the fruit. Who knows? Could be.
There's Eagle, on your thing about like the rule of 3. If you go to the 16-17 spread, there's 3 smiling people for the 4 emperors. And yeah.
And then Shanks is just like
deadpan.
Yeah.
That's because he's about to die.
Death flags.
This is kind of a hot take, but I think that Shanks will die before Luffy gets to give him the hat back.
Oh man,
I think Blackbeard's gonna kill him.
Man, how we skipping?
Wait, what do you mean? We could talk about
skip it ahead.
Yeah, we could talk about any part of the chapter at any time.
I just wanted to loop around to that.
In order.
Yeah, we be jumping around sometimes.
Just part about like what you find interesting, really.
Right.
Yeah. Just I don't know. I feel like in the end, like maybe not in the end of the story, but like in the end of like this story for these 4 guys, between Blackbeard, Shanks, Luffy, and Buggy, I feel like they're all gonna be probably involved in a fight at the same time, and it's gonna be like them 3 attacking Blackbeard at the same time.
Ooh.
Because like Luffy has a positive relationship with Shanks, and Luffy has already, butt heads with Buggy a couple times and also worked with him at Ample Down. Buggy doesn't really fuck with like Shanks or fucking Luffy, but like he was on the same crew with Shanks, and he knows Luffy. I guess part of his fame is thanks to Luffy, and it's like Blackbeard is the one. I don't think Blackbeard's done anything to Shanks. I mean, to Buggy, but like this guy is probably gonna be a problem for the world, and like all 3 of these guys.
And it makes me wonder, like, how did Buggy even like get here, like as an emperor? Like, is this comedy, or was there like a legitimate reason why like Buggy is an emperor now? Like, did he do something significant enough, like, or is he just keeping the joke going that he just keeps getting praised for shit that he didn't really do?
It's the king effect.
Who knows how the events played out of like the Navy officers coming to capture him? Maybe he actually did do some shit, or maybe it again happened.
It's the stakes.
And it's happened in some weird ass way that he was able to take credit for it.
Yeah, I was in. Yeah, it's either like a King and One Punch Man kind of like situation, and they're continuing like that shtick. You know what I mean? Of like Buggy just continuing to like gain notoriety. Yeah, like Buggy. I only thought about it because Mello just said it. But it was like kind of like crowded over by like other people talking or whatever, but I caught it, so shout out Mello there. But anyway, I was in Discord, in our Project Manga Discord in VC with a couple people, and Kip was there, our buddy Kippin from the Discord and on Twitter and whatnot, and I think Kichi was there too, and we had just came out of the TCB translation or whatever, and we all like kind of like read it together and we're talking about it. And then we were talking about how Buggy could possibly be here and whether or not it was a joke, or did he actually do something to deserve this spot. And Eagle brought up how, like, well, it could have been something like when the world government went to go collect the warlords. And then that reminded me that Kip said something so crazy, like Fujitora went to go get Buggy and then, like, sent a meteor down on him or some shit. And then Buggy's fucking fruit, like, awakened in that moment to, like, affect things externally. And he just, like, turned the fucking meteor into Roblox, like, or some shit. And Fujitora was like, hey, man, I can't fight this motherfucker, I don't think, right now, or something like that.
It's like dice.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, hold on, wait a minute. This dude's way more broken than you told me he was.
You told me he was a joke.
Yeah, like, wait a minute. I thought this dude was an actual clown, but he's like,
my meteor to ribbons, bro.
Yeah, like he just countered like my shit. Like, what's going on? Like, and that information came back. Or, hey,
Was it Fujitora that went to go get him?
I don't know. I think that's just what Kip
He
said.
like
but,
minced it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what Kip said is that Fujitora went there, but I didn't go back and like look or whatever. But now I'm looking at this and I'm like,
Let us
man,
know in the comments.
yeah, let us know in the comments if you guys want to go back there. But like, dude, like it'd be so funny if Shanks was talking about Buggy the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like when he went to go talk to the Gorosei, he's like, "I want to tell you about a pirate." Maybe he's just like holding down.
It's
Maybe he's just
Buggy
holding
the
down his
whole
old
time.
homeboy. Yo, it's
Yeah.
like I don't know why you would do that. Now that I think about it, I guess because it's
But
like
at the same time,
that seems
they
like
Buggy
such a
have
goat.
nostalgia for each other.
yeah,
Right?
like they
they're
do have a
they were shit-
relationship.
They're
Yeah,
both white beard boys.
Yeah.
And like they didn't they both have the aspiration to be like emperors of the sea? They're like,
Yeah.
we're both gonna be emperors of the sea one day. Yeah. And so like, isn't it? It would be kind of funny that like Shanks would be like, you know what? I'm in a position where I could actually make this happen.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
Well,
Buggy-
childhood dreams achieved. I'm going to die now and fill the death flags.
Yo,
Buggy is like the direct result. What I was gonna say I wanted to talk about later is Buggy is like people say that there's no stakes because there's no death, but Buggy is the result of all the things that like happen in the story. Like when this chapter
He's the
happened and
crux.
when Buggy got declared a Yonko, I had to look it up. I said, when's the last time we seen Buggy? And I looked it up and it was like chapter 802. And we see Buggy. He's now a warlord of the sea. He has his own place. He has his own location called like Buggy Town on an island called Empty Island or something where he's running he's running like the mercenary
delivery service or
yeah
some
he's got the
shit.
pirate like temp service or whatever, and the giants are working under him. This is after, I believe, after Dressrosa, because the giants are with him and
Yeah.
then they leave for some reason. Like one of the giants quits and he takes the other giants with him, and Buggy's pissed, but Buggy's he's got like all these guys on him. People love him. He's got his own tail. People fuck with Buggy.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
this, and I believe he says like directly, because like Doflamingo's out of the picture, like he's cornered the market. He's got like all the weapons producing and shit like that. And now Kaido's out of the picture as like another market for Buggy to step in. And like now Buggy's just cornering, more of the market. He's now a Yako. He's got like territory. He's got men. People fuck with him after Impo Down and shit.
Yeah.
I think prisoners joined Buggy's crew from Impo Down.
They
Like Buggy
do.
has people.
He's got hardened people that can survive Impel Down too.
Yeah, and in the government, I mean, they like, wasn't it like Whitebeard? Somebody like acknowledged Buggy at like Marineford. They were like, "Yo, Buggy's like that." Like
Yeah.
people were fucking with Buggy,
Yeah.
and
So like
and so
it
now
is a little
he's-
bit of the King effect, you know what I mean? King
Yeah.
from One Punch Man, where he's just like getting praised for things that he really didn't actually do himself or doesn't deserve that level of praise for. But then it could also just be a combination of that plus like maybe his fruit really did awaken when the Navy came to come get him. You know what I mean?
think he's
And he really is actually formidable as shit now and isn't as much comedic relief. He'll always be comedic relief, like, because that's just his personality. But I think he's actually like wildly capable now. Because otherwise it's like, if this is all just comedy, then that tells us a lot about the Yonko system in general, like where it is now. And if that's what I was going for, where he's like just like basically making a joke out of like these like big superpowers in the world, because it's all going to just come down to like Luffy versus Blackbeard anyway, and like fuck everything else. Like we're just dismantling all of like the pillar like systems that have been in place. Like the warlords don't matter anymore. Fucking the Yonko like, generation is like crazy new now. Like we went from fucking Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard, like Shanks, to fucking like Kaido and Big Mom getting beat in the same arc, and now Buggy's an emperor. Like it just feels like shit is like the wheels are falling off the wagon as far as our like, understanding of this world at large.
I really want to feel like Buggy just took like he took the failing upward and he made the most out of it. He didn't like just sit on his hands. Like, I want to believe that like he was like, yo, people really fuck with me. I'm gonna start doing some push-ups and shit so I can actually like fit the image that people have of me. I want to believe that he's done more than just be like this goofy ass clown who just happened to fall into his position. I mean, that may have been it for the most part, but like he's got a town and like his old crew. He's got Impel Down prisoners.
He seems like he's doing good.
Yeah, he's got giants. He's
grown from the
Yonko.
experiences.
He's got money. I want to see Buggy do good things. Yeah.
Hell yeah, me too.
Yeah,
That's my boy.
Rewinding a little bit, like let's talk. Oh, did you still have something?
I just think that like he can mince a meteor, and also at the same time like he's pulled off some like really silly, dumb escapes. before. So like, if the government or the Navy is fooled and made a fool of, they're gonna be like, no, it's not that we're incompetent. It's that they're great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
there you
like,
go. I like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
We
Like, there's
didn't
always
blow
gonna be
it. This dude is just cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
This
Catch 'em.
serial killer is a genius. We're not just bad at our jobs and accept whatever excuses people give us.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
the Ted
and-
Bundy shit, like right
Yeah.
in your face. Like y'all
And-
let that motherfucker go like 3 times or some shit. And it's
Yeah,
like, no, he was a
exactly.
genius. It's like, no, you guys
Yeah,
just fucking suck.
That's
No,
his title
he-
too.
Yeah.
They got that for his title too, Buggy the Genius Jester, like on the thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's
So
what I
they
thought.
have acknowledged him as a
Yo,
genius.
They're definitely overhyping him
Hilarious.
because they're fucking insecure at their inability to catch
They
someone
fucked
that
up.
they think
He's
is
just
stupid.
sneaky.
Yeah.
He's just sneaky.
Yo, that's hilarious
But-
to actually think about. Wow.
hmm
But yeah,
Man.
let's talk about Ryokugyu.
Dude, he's creepy.
Yeah, I fuck
also
with.
Macho.
How do y'all feel like with his design? Like this is just like a cool design for Admiral. I want to say like all the other admirals have like a very like clean and dapper or otherwise just like traditionally clean kind of aesthetic to them. Like you have Sakazuki,
Yeah.
Borsalino, and Kuzan that rock like 2 and 3 piece suits. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then you have Fujitora who is a little bit more Japanese traditional garb, but still like Satoichi, like like clean like suit, but for an old school samurai type nigga. It's like all the same kind of like vibe, and then you just have like this avant-garde, like shirtless, flower petal up the pants with like distressed rips in the fucking jeans and shit. Like I feel like this is just like super out of the ordinary for an admiral character design, and I'm totally here for it.
It feels
Yeah.
because like I've always felt the admirals were based off like classic movie stars, Japanese movie stars, and
They
so
definitely
this
are.
one is also got that quality and vibe, and like just happens to be a younger version where like like in those actors, like the levels of decorum changed with the times,
Mhm.
so that like you can get away with being kind of more of like an Elvis Presley type, rock and roll bad boy.
Oh, I didn't even see his tattoo. The translation at the
Yeah.
bottom says double suicide at Death
suicide.
River. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Don't they talk about that in the TCB translation underneath the chapter? Hold on. Let me pull that up real quick because that's actually super interesting. Wait a minute. All the way to the bottom. All right. Chapter notes. His tattoo reads Shi, Kawa, Shinju. Death River in mind. Shinju is generally used to refer to a suicide pact / double suicide. This is usually done by lovers. Read literally, it can be taken as a suicide pact at the River of Death. The tattoo itself seems to be a double reference to Harada's song Shinjuku Shinju and the Rakugo tale Shinagawa Shinju. The song's title basically means Shinjuku on the brain, but the use of Shinju implies a much darker attachment to the area. This is actually super relevant to me because in Discord VC just a couple of days ago with like Kira or Kettle as they go by in our Discord, one of the admins was showing me Rakugo Shinju anime. Yeah, and like so wow, I like didn't even like put that together.
Oh,
until, like,
Our
right
Master
now.
Has No Tail, that one?
Yeah, I think that is what it is. Yeah, the one about the
I was
aspiring
gonna check that
Rakugo
out.
guy who has the super try hard like mentor or whatever.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna check that one out because I like Akane Abashi, and I was like, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
no, Ryoku's abilities remind me of Momo just because of proximity, right? Like on page 11, where he's draining like vital essences out of them through roots.
Yeah, so did
I
he
was
kill
just-
King and Queen?
I think he did.
Oh shit!
so.
Bruh.
No, I heard someone
I've heard
say
people speculating maybe King survived because he looks a little less withered in his panel than Queen does. Because Queen looks like he's down bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
Queen looks like
Queen
Queen
is-
looks like 198 years old. Like he looks like
Yeah.
he's
Queen
about
looks
to start
like Fat
fucking
Bastard
crumbling
during
into
Gold
dust.
Member.
Yeah, and he does kind of look like Fat Bastard in Gold Member.
we
That's
actually-
fucking hilarious.
And we actually see the like little bulge in the vine where it's sucking his essence out, whereas in the King panel we don't.
It
see
just
that.
stabs him.
Yeah, maybe I think I heard someone say that they're gonna take King back to a lab and like continue experimentation on him, which would
Oh,
just be like really
no.
fucking sad because like they know that he's Lunarian at this point. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
historically, obviously, he was broken out of the testing facility that Kaido saved him from. So they probably want to get that motherfucker back now that they know that he's
Yeah.
alive. So they're probably like kill everyone, but bring King back because we're not finished with dude.
Yeah.
That'd be fucked.
Yeah, that'd
But
be super sad.
as far as Ryukyugi goes, I obviously love his design too. I can't find the actor that he is that he looks like.
That he's
It
Oh,
was
Maj
mentioned in
too.
the O'Hara video, so
Yeah.
go Go to the
People Hara, yeah.
review on this latest chapter. He's a great reviewer, obviously.
And if you know yourselves, let us know in the comments.
He puts a picture of the actor and looks just like him. So
Nice.
It remains true that all the admirals are derived from real life Japanese actors that are really famous. But
yeah, specifically like Borsellino and Fujitora both like really look like they're homages like to a T.
Yeah.
Like Zatoichi, the blind swordsman. Like if you guys, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this by now, but if you
100%.
haven't looked that reference up yet, go look at Fujitora side by side Zatoichi. You'll get your fucking mind blown.
It's amazing.
And the Borsellino one is like 2 on point. But yeah.
But I feel we get further support in this chapter that he's got, like, in my opinion at least, a mythical Zoan fruit that's like a forest sprite, Spriggan kind of type beat.
Sure.
Either that or like a high level Paramecia fruit that's like a plant fruit that he has awakened, because we see divine control, we see like the sucking of the life essence, photosynthesis,
Could
or
be
whatever.
a tree of life.
We see that's another thing I heard mentioned when I was talking to a buddy of mine about the chapter.
You can just
See like the plants and the foliage and the trees growing in his wake, and even the big ass tree like growing off of Udon as he's there like turning up and shit. So I think that definitely lends even further to that. And personally, like I said, I would like to see the forest sprite, Spriggan, mythical Zoan, because then you'd have one admiral,
Yeah, that'd be
Logia,
cool.
one Paramecia, one Zoan.
Yeah, and
I
it's
think obviously having a mythical zone would be the most potent and most in line with these abilities that we're seeing so far, which seem pretty mythical.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's just hard to really like guess the intention of Oda when it comes to something like this, right? Because historically, when the admirals are introduced, all 3 of them are Logias. Then after the time skip, Kuzan leaves, replaced by Fujitora. Sakazuki gets promoted to fleet admiral. So now the 2 admirals that we have are Logia and Paramecia. So then logically you go, oh, Oda's going for like an admiral for each class of devil fruit kind of thing. But Oda tends to zag whenever we think he's gonna zig, you know what I mean? So I could totally see him like doing a looky-loo on that and being like, no, it's actually a Paramecia. But then like at the same time, we're in Wano, the Zoan arc. So, like, if he was going for that one admiral for each devil fruit class, this would be the arc to introduce the one with the Zoan. So, like, that makes all the sense in the world, but I just feel like Oda's going to be like, you thought, you know what I mean? Type shit, because he be on that, you know? So it's like...
I mean, everybody thinks, I think it's going to be a Logia. And like,
people are saying Logia?
People are like, yeah, it's plant Logia. I'm like, plant is like an organic life form more than an element.
Yeah, I don't know.
The elements
Logia.
of wood, this, that. I'm like, wood, but he'd be doing more wood shit, not this plant growing shit that we're seeing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got like flowers and shit. You could just say like the element of like nature, I guess, is like the connecting line to keep the elemental like shtick go, or the elemental vibe going, and or motif. Motif is the word that I'm looking for there. But yeah,
I don't know. I think about like Flame of Rekka, right? They had the wood element. Mokuren had that stuff.
Yeah.
Ryoku's giving me like TV glamour Mokuren vibes.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if I really just nope, that thought has left the station.
Left the building.
Yep.
Well, anyway, I just want to talk about how this panel on page 11 is definitely like a flashback to like Dressrosa, Doflamingo, like Everwhite in the Kingdom, like fucking like literally like almost shot for shot parallel of when Doflamingo was like running people through with giant string tendrils in the Dressrosa town when he took it over or whatever.
And stomping on people.
That was just like really cool that someone pointed out, and I was like, oh damn, I think they were like complaining about it or whatever, like reused panel. Like,
is it the bottom one?
No, it's the top of 11.
Yeah.
But
Another thing
that's
I actually
parallels,
like
baby.
about Green Bull that I didn't mention is that I actually really love that he doesn't seem to be another sort of friendly admiral that can be won over.
Yeah.
He seems like a hard ass who really loves, Sakazuki's style of doing things and just wants all the fucking smoke.
Yeah, someone like posted a panel with like Ryokugyu in that like line of dialogue where he's like trying to, be like
I wanna hear him
Sakazuki
say,
or
"You did
whatever.
good."
Yeah, they're like, nah, the dick eating is crazy right now. And it's like,
You're telling me this admiral's special ability is dick riding?
yeah.
I'm definitely loving what we're
I
seeing from his character so
I
far.
love it too. Yeah, no, his
Yeah,
shit
he's
is
cool.
good.
What he has
Like,
in store for us next.
despite the memes, like Ryokugyu is fucking incredible. Yeah, so
Tight.
far.
I think I was on the side that was thinking that he was gonna come to Wano and be like on some, I'm not listed to the government right now. I'm here on, personal orders or whatever, and like heal the place, give it like plant life. It looks like he is doing that. Like he's, like as he's walking towards
I think
the
it's
flower capital or
unintentional.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there. He's like healing like the ground and the nature and shit. But he's not being nice. He's there to fuck shit up, but
Right.
also like
Mhm.
here's some crops or whatever. But like these guys are going with me. I'm taking this kid's head.
Yeah. And I saw all
That's
types
why-
of people saying that like Ryokugyu, like when he was like floating in on the helicopter or whatever
Flower?
at the end of the last chapter or whatever, people were like, it's Ushimaru Shimotsuki or this is Zoro's dad and like he's not coming to fight, he's coming to like have a, and I was like subscribed to the idea that he was pulling up because he was affiliated with Wano in some kind of way, and it was going to be like a, hey, yeah, I'm going over here to fuck him up, yeah, sure, I'll be back later, but then he pulls
Yeah.
up, like has a conversation with him, lets him know like some really crazy insider shit, and then leaves and then reports back like, they fucked me up, my bad, I couldn't do it, we gotta send in more people or something like that. So like I was like totally like in line with that. I thought that would be pretty cool. I definitely didn't like know how I felt exactly about the whole like Zoro's dad thing. I thought the Ushimaru Shimotsuki thing, like could be cool depending on how it was like kind of executed, but I'm glad that it wasn't any of that and it is what it is. Yeah.
He's calling it a warship, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, Buster call these motherfuckers.
Yeah, it looks like we're not done here, man, in Wano. It's like
Not at all, which I'm
But
about.
man,
Yeah.
page. I guess pages 8 through 10 here.
Oh
Yeah,
my
the
god.
Robin stuff.
We get Robin
like the
stuff.
poneglyph in the
Everybody was
background?
tripping. Robin's gone. Robin was kidnapped. He was off looking for a fucking
Yeah.
poneglyph like always.
Yeah.
Jesus
Whenever
Christ.
Robin isn't around when you think she should be, she's probably doing shit like this. Like we have plenty of
Yeah.
history to look back on to let us know like that Robin be doing this regularly at the end of arcs. So
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but as far as the Sukiyaki thing, like, how do you guys feel about this? Because this was obviously a little jarring.
yeah, this was a crazy.
But it does
reveal.
make sense that they imprisoned him, I guess. I don't know why they wouldn't just kill him.
Yeah.
Political prisoner. I don't know, something easier to contain someone than make them a martyr, etc., etc.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's something like that. But yeah, I remember being like, "Oh man, really?" I was like, like you suck." You know what I mean? And he was
Maybe,
like,
like-
and then he
Really threw me
immediately
out.
says like, "I suck," and I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
at least you know you're a fucking bum," But then also he says, I was hemmed up or whatever. I was like under lock and key, and then by the time I got out, my son was already dead, and I like thought about killing myself but didn't. And I was like, okay, well, if that's all the writing that's going to come after the reveal, then I guess it doesn't make it feel as weird. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But when he took that fucking mask off and I saw Kozuki Odin father, I was like, no fucking way, dude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then,
I mean, at
yeah.
least he's good delivery system for classified knowledge.
Right. Yeah, because it's like, who else would have this besides the former shogun of Wano? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
But as far as page 10 goes,
Yeah.
Robin says that she's certain somewhere in Wano is Pluton. And she's known it since Alabasta because the poneglyph there
Told her.
did in fact say that it was on Pluton, which I remember her saying to Cobra, I think in the scene where they're both kind of like, dying before Luffy saves them.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, did that poneglyph really not say anything about Pluton? And she's like, oh, no, it did. But I just lied to him type shit.
Yeah,
Never
like
really
red herring type shit. Like, I don't want you to actually go get this shit. So I'm going to tell you that it's somewhere it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
And the theories were always that it was in Alabasta, but I think it was pointed out that she never really explicitly said, like it said it was in Alabasta, but it did say something about Pluton. So the fact that she kept this under wraps the whole time,
Play it
is
close
just
to the
fucking
chest.
insane.
Yeah, I love that.
And it kind of like upsets me in a way because I'm like, damn, I thought we was friends type shit.
I mean, Pluton
Like,
is
what the
like
fuck,
an
bitch?
ancient
You
Atlantis
really
level.
didn't kept this
like,
secret this whole damn time?
Right.
I mean,
Like,
there's
I'm
like
on the
a-
ship with y'all.
there's like
Right.
levels of friendship, but there's also like Atlantis, weapon of mass destruction, ancient weapon.
Right,
You
yeah.
know,
It's like you ain't never told
Luffy's
Luffy,
kinda reckless.
nobody, no, that you ain't never trusted
You not
nobody with
trust
this information.
Luffy with
Just
a
held
nuke?
it.
Maybe other maybe other characters on the ship do know, and it's just like, why would Oda need to like give us that confirmation? Maybe it's like they definitely had the conversation and it just like wasn't worth like the reveal is now.
It wasn't on screen.
The reveal for the information is now, but that doesn't mean that other members
That's
don't
for
know
us,
about
yeah.
it. We can maybe assume, but like like if she really did keep it from everyone, then that is kind of weird.
Do you think,
especially Frankie? Frankie's got to know.
Right.
Yeah. So like that makes
Man.
it extra weird if she really. But I want to believe that she told the appropriate people, and we just didn't get that scene because it's meant for it's meant for the reveal right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, there's one thing I really want to touch on. Page 15 and a little bit of page 16. Watching like after Eustace like attacks Luffy, and he just like buddies him. Just
Get over here.
Get over here. You're my friend. You ain't got no choice.
Yeah. Like that Friday after next scene where fucking Terry Crews has fucking Ice Cube and Day-Day's fucking arms like, what's up?
Yeah, but I like the fact that like on page 16, Eustace shows him the reason he's attacking, and his eyes pop out like you did when he was in like Nika Joy Boy mode.
He's still keeping that.
I like that that's carrying over, and it's not like a Super Saiyan transformation. This has been like you've hit the zenith. Now this is just going to be an existing part of your kit. Eventually you'll change stuff like colorations and stuff occasionally, I guess, for visual effect. But
I feel like we've been getting like elongated, like popped out eye reactions in One Piece, but it's never been like bubbled up like this, as if it's like
this is
the
exactly
eye is
like
outside and the bubbles behind it are like
tube.
Yeah, it's always just like a straight, like a tube. Yeah, exactly. Like a vial.
Seems like a
like a lab vial.
like a speed thing, right? Like it's moving so fast. There's like after images.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Like it's definitely making.
Yeah, the eyes are outside the head, and then the bubbles behind the eyes are like after images of the eyes traveling outward so quickly.
He's definitely making a point to draw it this way now.
Right.
After Gear 5.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
but yeah,
I don't have anything else
hyped.
to say.
I'm hyped to see the Pluton shit. Obviously, I can't wait to see that. I guess the last couple things I wanted to mention were man, the boy Luffy officially a Yonko, man.
Yeah,
feels fucking incredible.
We came very far, man.
Such a long time, man.
Yeah,
he's
huge.
He's finally got to that point of notoriety, infamy, stature within the world now. It's
finally
a long
here,
ride, man. But we really here, man. Feels good.
And the amount of time, you know what I mean? Like this is going on like 30 years by the time it ends, probably. You know what I mean? And it's like when you cover that much ground in a series, it's like there are multiple points to look back at in One Piece for like peak nostalgic effect. You know what I mean? Like you can look back at like Alabasta and be like, damn, we thought we were far when we got here. You know what I mean? Then you go to Indies Lobby and it's like, dude, we're really in the building now, and that was so far so long ago. And it's like now it's like, man, this motherfucker is really a Yonko right now. And it's like, holy shit, nothing to something, best rags to riches story. You know what I mean? Like ever.
Started at the bottom, now we're here.
Type shit.
Next stop, man. Next stop, the Pirate King.
Yeah, for real. And it's like you just really feel like you've grown with these people and that like you know them. You know what I mean? Like, wow.
Man.
Yeah. And I guess I don't know. I hate to loop back to the Wuggy stuff, but like, because I feel like we kind of talked about it ad nauseum. But anybody who's mad about that, in my opinion, is just taking it too fucking seriously. I mean, we talked a little bit off segment about. I brought up a couple, One Piece chapters from earlier or whatever, and like, it's been goofy from the fucking beginning. Whoop slap is what we were talking about. Mayor fucking whoop slap.
Yeah.
Goofy ass shit from the beginning. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's par for the course.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and I was talking about it in your live reaction too, in the live chat or whatever. It's like I feel like people have been arguing power scaling and like character quality like back and forth for so long that people treat One Piece characters at this point like they're actual living human beings that make their own decisions, like they're following like the performances of basketball players or some shit. And it's like, no, fam, like this is a story being told by one person. You know, like there is a story to be told here, and you kind of have to follow it, waiting for this motherfucker to give you more story, not waiting to see what characters do so that you can fucking argue whether it was a good decision or not. And it's like the characters
Waiting to see
matter.
more feats.
Yeah, the characters matter, and like, you know, the writing of the characters definitely do matter, and the power scaling definitely, you know, matters in One Piece, but just like not to the extent that the community fucking takes it to. You know,
like Oda does not give a fuck about your power scaling conversations on Twitter.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like, imagine if you were having these arguments like in front of this guy. Like, how like fucking weird would you fucking feel? Like,
no, fucking Rayleigh was the fucking bingo.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you sound like a crazy man.
Imagine Oda being like, "Yo, dude, it's like not about that though."
It's not that big. It's not that big.
You'd feel so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I'm just
internet is good in small doses. You just gotta remember to use your outdoor public voice sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta mind your manners. Like Jinbei, who waited patiently for 2 hours.
I hate that
nobody let that guy know.
Yeah. I almost
like Jinbei was like,
forgot
"Oh, you're
that
polite."
scene.
He could have been like, "Hey, it's just me in here."
Yeah, like when I got to
I'm gonna
this
eat all of it.
page,
Don't worry about it.
yeah, like when I got to this page, it is like none of them could wait 2 hours, but I'm here because I'm the respectful fucking like dad character that's like always gonna do shit like this, and I'm just like, oh my god, Jinbei, I fucking love you.
Still not polite enough to let this kid cook know. It's like, yeah, you can stop anytime.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll just eat whatever you got, bro. The buggy thing though.
Yeah.
Go ahead. He's talking about the cooking.
Oh, who, me?
Oh no, Mella.
Oh.
No.
Okay,
I just
yeah.
want to touch on that Jinbei is polite, and I love that.
Yeah, I love him. Great guy.
With the Buggy thing though, now that Buggy and Luffy are both officially Yonko, the town that they fought, Orange Town, is like it's got to be like a tourist attraction and like a major landmark now. Like people, we need like a flash.
They got statues.
Yeah, we need to see a scene where it's just like there's parades and shit, and they're handing out like Luffy T-shirts and Buggy figurines and shit. I need it. It's like this is the location where two legendary Yonko fought
for the first time.
They sell balloons that have their hats on them.
Yeah, welcome to Buggy Land, yo.
The guy's like, those two idiots fought right here at my grocery store, 20 years ago or whatever.
Oh man,
I need it. Yeah,
that'd be fucking hilarious.
All the kids like want to go.
Clown cutlets.
Yeah, they got like fucking.
It's like the stripes of his shirt.
Right.
They're handing out straw hats and fucking fake Buggy knife hands and shit.
They got like big statues on either side of town facing each other.
Yeah, I need it. Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be cool too, Mello. Two giant statues of like exaggerated depictions of Buggy
on either side of town.
Like Buggy just looks like a fucking Adonis, like god going up against like fucking Luffy statue.
Two Gear 5 form, you know.
Giga Chads.
Giga Chads.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
All the kids want to go to like Orange Town to see like, hey, I want to be a pirate like Luffy and fucking Buggy. Oh, it's just like crazy.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
That quiet town life is over. It's stuck as a tourist trap. Rip.
Yeah. I think I'm good on One Piece though, for real. This was a hefty chapter, and it's gonna be off for a month. That's insane.
Well done, gentlemen.
Next chapter is gonna be insane.
I know. Yeah. Can't wait for it. That's gonna feel like fucking a
8
lifetime.
pages of bounty posters.
Like Homecoming.
He dropped this. It was like, these guys are Yonko, and see you next month.
I'm out.
Yeah, the streets are gonna go insane. Like, dude, like the One Piece community like takes and like just discourse like on a week-to-week level is always fucking crazy, obviously. And then when you get like a break week, people just start going fucking nuts. This is a whole fucking month. Can't remember the last time Oda took a break this long. Anime Twitter is going to be fucking Bedlam and Goliath.
Time skip?
Yeah, I think it was time skip. Yeah, I think he took a month off for the in between the time skip. Yeah. And that's crazy that the last time we saw Buggy was 802.
Yeah, chapter 802. I don't think there's been a time since then. And he was a warlord.
Goddamn. Yeah.
I think we saw him in the chapter like right after the bounties when they announced Big Mom Kaido, you know, Roger Whitebeard's bounties, and then they announced the dissolution of the warlord system and that they were sending everybody out to get people. Like they showed Boa's island, they showed Kobe pulling up on her, they showed Mihawk, and they showed Buggy
Okay.
I don't remember if they stated or showed who was going after him specifically. I think I remember just seeing like some fucko Navy officer like, Buggy, come out here and get with your fucking hands up, buddy.
Yeah, so we got like one panel
Yeah,
of
he
Buggy
played them. He played them for sure.
We got like one panel of Buggy since 802, but the last time we actually got like a Buggy scene for real was 802. Like that's like so crazy. Like that's like over 200 chapters ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Vice Admiral Stainless Fleet confronts Buggy delivery, making Buggy furious at his turn of events. He's put into a precarious situation, being forced to abandon his position and run away, ruining his dream of free plundering. So Buggy orders his men to prepare to fight, but secretly plans to flee by himself. It's just a summary of what I read online.
Yeah, I can
but
see
since
it now
then,
too.
Yeah, but since then he's become Yako. Yeah, so what the fuck?
And it's like it took us like you brought up the 802 like thing at the beginning of the review, and now at the very end of the review we're like correcting that, and I could just see someone in the comments like, actually the last time we saw Buggy was it's like, just finish the segment. Finish the segment.
It's like you gotta watch the whole video.
Yeah,
that's how we get you.
Before you comment, you know what I'm saying?
delete the comment, brother. Go back and delete that comment.
Yeah, people be hearing one thing and then instantly to the click clackers like to correct, and it's like, oh man.
Click clackers, step back.
Please watch our whole segment.
Shit, yeah, I think that about does it for One Piece, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm good. Great conversation,
gentlemen.
Yes.
That will do it for the final chapter of the night, and that will do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, be sure to slap a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Be sure to sub to the channel for more fire-ass weekly content. Make sure you slap a comment in the comment section down below. Let us know what you thought of this Weekend Jump, of the episode. You know, tell us if you thought we missed anything or whatever. Chop it up with us down there. Also, as I said before, make sure you check that description box down below where you can find links to any and all of our individual social media accounts, online communities such as Discord, audio listening platforms to consume the podcast on, as well as places to support the podcast such as our Patreon or our online store. Also, you can find any relevant links to Yato's stuff here, as we said in the intro as well. So
yeah, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Fuck yeah, it was great. You know, first episode.
Great week to have you on
together, like you said earlier. So
4-man show. Yeah, this is a banger.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, this will be another stupendous episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Wrapping up, I'm your host, Eagle.
Knox.
I'm Mellow Yanis.
And Yato.
Sarabada.